And with that, I think it's time for our boy Mega Man. Mega Man 4 through 6, are we ready? Take it away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to what is going to be an exciting relay. This is the Mega Man 4, 5, and 6 relay, and this is going to be exciting. We have 3 teams of 3, as you can see there. And what is going to happen is we're going to have, of course, the runner starting at Mega Man 4, and then we're going to transition. We're going to have a little 30-second block, so that way we can get all the next runners set up. So as soon as Mega Man 4 is over, we're going to set it over to the Mega Man 5 runners. They're going to have their transition, then they're going to start, and as soon as 5 is done, then we're going to go to Mega Man 6, finish it off, and the first team to finish 4, 5, 6 is the victor. So, yeah, I am Darkman78, and joined by me on commentary is PJ and Chelney. Welcome, welcome.
Hey.
All right, so let's introduce the teams then. Chelney, you want to introduce Team Cossack?
Yeah, so we got Team Cossack, starting with Mega Man 4, we have Sagehero, Mega Man 5, Feral Pigman, and Mega Man 6, Ohom.
All right, and then for Team Darkman, a little bias here, we have Not Riley on Mega Man 4, Becco on Mega Man 5, and Resistingframe on Mega Man 6. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I like it, I like it.
And for Team Mr. X, we have lookintoad starting off with Mega Man 4, followed by Papat.1 on Mega Man 5, and Dark Teryx on Mega Man 6, also known as Papat.2.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
All right, well, I think we got our intros out of the way. It looks like all of our runners are pretty set and ready to go, so I think without further ado, let's get things started with a little countdown, huh? All right, so we're gonna start from 10, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. You know what I like about this race already?
What's that?
Everybody just went to Pharaoh.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby. Oh, baby.
Heck yeah.
So why do you like that, Chelney?
Well, this route, I'm glad you asked that question, PJ. I'm so glad. This is...
My work here is done.
Well, there you go. There's 2 sort of solidified routes in Mega Man 4. We got Pharaoh first and Bright first. This route is slightly faster, only maybe marginally by about maybe 5 or 6 seconds, mostly because of the Pharaoh shot being a very, very good weapon, but also because we're going to get the balloon item here in Pharaoh, and that's going to allow us to sort of progress through Brightman stage faster over the spikes.
So see all 3 teams there taking a little safety with the rush coil. Wanted to make sure you don't get hit by that fly there and get sent into the pit. They get sent in the pit, they cannot go back up. They never get the balloon again. That's probably around like a 30-second time loss, so just want to play a little bit safe, especially in the early goings of the relay.
Yeah, and you also, the nice thing about the balloon is it pushes you to the halfway point of the stage, unlike the wire from Dive Man stage, so it's a nice little benefit as well, pushing you forward. So these guys, all actually really interesting. All these Mega Man 4 runners, this is their first GDQ run. So I'm very excited to see how they are able to perform tonight.
Yeah, and kind of like talking about just the overall sense of things, how close are these 3 teams in terms of personal best?
They're very close. There's only a 24-second difference in the sum of personal best between all three teams. So we can expect a very close race today, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're coming up to the end of Pharaoh Man stage here. We're going to be getting into the boss fight. Pharaoh is actually probably a little more generous in a way because a lot of bosses in this game deal a lot of damage on contact. Pharaoh actually is the only Robot Master in the game that does not. He only deals 4, so it's kind of a nice little start to the beginning. You see these guys actually trying to get a quicker charge shot by sliding away with that extra lemon. Unfortunately, it didn't look like it worked out for any of them, but...
They're trying to force Pharaoh Man to the center of the screen if at all possible.
Yeah. So Team Mr. X gets a nice kill location, Darkman as well. Unfortunately for Team Cossack, he died in the corner. So in this game, the animation get for grabbing the weapon doesn't start until all the boss particles leave the screen. So killing a boss closer to the center of the screen is more ideal. As well, there's a secret sort of, well, not really a secret, but there's a super secret magic pixel that we want to sort of stand on, and it actually skips the animation of Mega Man jumping up to grab that weapon get as well. So you're going to see them try to position themselves on a very specific spot after each boss kill as well.
Yeah, and even in Pharaoh Man stage, we saw some of them attempt it in a Dive Man stage and go for it as well. You can skip the jump up to the center entirely and just spawn the weapon, get animation preemptively.
Yeah, exactly.
So just no fanfare. Mega Man just leaves.
Yeah, if you get to that right spot, the game sort of thinks that it's happening already and it just kind of teleports you out. It's really, really nice.
So who here loves grasshoppers?
I love grasshoppers.
Okay, great. because you're going to see a lot of them over the course of this stage.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting too because, like we said, we grabbed the balloon now. So these next screams coming up for the checkpoint room are going to be really interesting for the teams. We'll see what they decide to do here. The two main strats you're going to have a chance to see is balloons, which we're already seeing here from Team Mr. X.
Okay.
And looks like Team Cossack as well is going to go for balloons. So this is very, very scary here. Unfortunately, catching that one baton there and causing a little more additional lag, but looks like he's going to get through. So really nice job by Looking Toad.
Very nice, very nice. That is a very difficult strat to pull off, because even if you're just a little bit off with your balloons, you're going to either slide into the wall, or you potentially might even just slide into your death due to the way the positioning of the balloons work.
Exactly. So yeah, both Looking Toad and Sage doing a really nice job with the balloons. Riley taking it a little bit safer, and it honestly still paid off for him. He got some pretty good luck, it looked like, from the Grasshopper, so he's still with the two.
Sure. And the advantages of taking Pharaoh first, they're not just the balloon advantage in Brightman stage. So he's still going to be benefiting by having the Pharaoh shot for Brightman himself.
Yeah, most people might think that this isn't even the weakness for Brightman, and you are actually correct. But Pharaoh Shot does deal the same amount of damage as Buster. An uncharge is 1, and a full charge is 3. And there's an interesting thing where you can get a hit with the charge above your head, and if you don't let go of the B button, you can release it and still get another full charge. So it's like 2 charge shots for the price of 1. As well, the Pharaoh Shot charges faster than Buster, so it's got advantageous in multiple ways.
Unfortunately, Team Darkman, not Riley, unfortunately got froze there. So how that mechanic works, Brightman actually freezes the screen, and you can't do anything. Yeah, that works.
That was awesome.
And how that works is it's actually in specific HP values. So when Bright is like, I believe at 4, I don't know the exact
like
numbers.
16, 8, 4, something like
health
that.
remaining, yes,
so,
you will flash.
So what the runners do is they do an intentional little small Pharaoh shot at a certain time, and that gets you off of that cycle. But unfortunately, if you don't get those like full charge hits in, it kind of puts you off the cycle, and that's what happened to Riley there. But still, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. And if you do use the weakness on Brightman, you hit all of those intervals, and you get frozen as many times as possible.
Clever devs. All right, so again, we're going to use some balloons. Now, you're actually going to see some really cool tech as the balloons now start to get used. Obviously, the balloons are kind of like item 1 from Mega Man 2, but you can actually, as you saw there from Lookin' Toad, you can place it in a wall, and it starts to despawn, but that hitbox is still there, and you can still jump off of it. So a lot of these guys, they're going to try to use the balloon to scale vertically very, very quickly. It's a very, very good way to climb these vertical screens.
Yeah, and one of the advantages to despawning the balloon and jumping off of where it used to be is that Mega Man 4 is an incredibly laggy game. I think most people generally think of Mega Man 3 as the lag champion, but 4 is a strong contender. So without that sprite being there, you save some lag frames.
Yeah, exactly. Again, and for that exact reason, that's why we're trying to kill as many of these ring rings in this screen as possible. Just trying to remove some sprites off the screen. Also, you may notice that we're only going to fight one mini-boss in this whole stage, the one that Team Cossack Sage just killed. Other than that, we can skip past all of them. There's no actual wall to prevent Mega Man from going past the hippos here, so really, really nice.
Yeah, one of the 4 mini-bosses in just this stage.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little bit careful about Pharaoh ammo usage throughout this entire stage, because obviously Pharaoh ammo is going to be the weakness for Ringman, and as you can see, it's very powerful throughout the entirety of the stage, so even just being a little bit off can kind of set you on the wrong path. But fortunately, they don't need much ammo for this boss fight.
Yeah, correct. You only need 5 ammo, so these guys are all looking really good. Health, though, is also a little bit scary. You're going to see Sage is down, obviously, to 2 HP, which means anything will kill him. Toad's got a little bit of a buffer, and we've got a lot of buffer there for Riley, which is nice.
A little bit off on the path.
Toad's just
there,
going to have
but
to be a little bit
that's
careful.
right. Let's see if Sage can do it. Sage cannot afford a mistake here, because one hit and he is dead. Doesn't matter what it is.
Missed the slide there, but looks like he's maybe okay.
Okay,
Nice.
all right,
Very nice.
Play a little safe. And
Nice
really
fight,
good.
Riley.
All right.
Riley had a great fight. Perfect fight there for Riley, so excellent. So yeah, Riley with that perfect fight out of the 3 of them was able to catch up a little bit there to Sage and, creeping up on Toad as well, so it's great.
Yeah, these guys are sticking really close together, which is great. It's going to be interesting now to see what they decide to do here coming up into Dustman stage. There's a couple different opportunities to use 2 different weapons here. You can either now use Flash Stopper, or you can use Pharaoh Shot. And Pharaoh Shot's being marginally faster, but Flash Stopper being a little bit easier. It'll be interesting to see what the runners decide to use here. Toad being very careful there, yet he did miss the up and down, so he had to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, so Sage on Team Cossack opting for the Bright strat, a little bit safer here, and Riley on Team Darkman's going with the Pharaoh strat.
Yeah, while these guys are progressing through the laggiest room of the entire game, it is worth noting why Pharaoh Shot is nice here is you can arc the shot upward, obviously kind of like Metal Blade in 2, and that allows you to kill more things, again, to reduce more lag. Sage will get more lag, but being able to slow down the enemies and halt them in their place makes the room a lot more consistent as well.
Nice. All three of them getting past that little lag without
really
dying,
good.
which is awesome.
All right, into the Crusher section. Ring is really good at clearing out these blocks, and conveniently, it's also the weakness of Dustman, so we want to try to utilize that. Toad does a really nice job getting through there.
Riley is going to be...
Right.
Oh, I was
Riley
just by Riley into Darkman. Oh, that was... my heart.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, he was probably 1 or 2 frames from dying, so that was incredibly close.
I love it.
All right,
I like the damage boost threat on that last mat instead of risking a weapon drop.
Yeah. So we're into the probably first boss that's pretty, not really super heavy RNG, but
Great pattern.
really nice
pattern
pattern there
by
for
Toad.
Toad. Unfortunately, he died in the corner, but you know, no sucks is also
Take it,
nice.
yeah.
So
So you see there what happens when they get the suck. You can't do anything to Dust there, but fortunately they can take a little damage boost, as you saw Sage for Team Cossack. And yeah, it kind of just stops the suck and allows you to just kind of hit him again. But as you can see, it does a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a little damage boost. Just getting clobbered by Dustman.
yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so now we're going into Skull. We're gonna get, this is actually one of the coolest speed stages of the 8 robots for sure. You're gonna see a lot of cool balloon tech in the first half, followed by a lot of Flash Stopper in the second half. And that's really where you're gonna start to see the power of Flash Stopper, and I'll get into that once we get to that second checkpoint area. Here's our only zip you're gonna see in the entire game. Really small one. Saves about 2.5 to 3 seconds, so not a huge save, but really, really nice if you can get it consistent.
Yeah, Mega Man 4 pretty aggressively kills you for being inside solid bound.
Yeah.
So you have to be in iframes for the entire duration of the zip.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first game that the devs really realized that zipping was a thing in Mega Man games, and they realized, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah, you want to be in a wall? All right, fine.
The balloon is really easy to zip. You basically just have to let it push you into the ceiling and slide. But, like PJ said, they make it kill you if you are not in invincibility frames. So here we are now into the second half of Skull here for Toad. Flash Stopper is really cool. It's kind of like, obviously, Time Stopper from Mega Man 2, as it freezes enemies in place, but you get multiple uses of it, and it freezes enemies in place for 5 seconds. You think, well, 5 seconds seems like a long time, and this seems like longer than 5 seconds, and you're right. And that's because that timer for 5 seconds only counts down when Mega Man is, like, not sliding. So if you keep sliding, that timer keeps pausing, and you can effectively make it last the entire screen, making some rooms just super trivial.
The Skullman here, it's kind of a predicted pattern. The only thing that's different is, as you can see right there for Toad on Mr. X. Yeah, the amount of time that the Skull has the shield up, of course, while Skull has the shield up, you cannot damage it. So it's just kind of a variable period how long it is, and you can see for Toad that's super long.
Yeah,
Wow.
really nice pattern from Riley there. Yeah, that was good.
Really nice.
Yeah, it can be almost instantly dropped or last up to like 4 seconds. So significant amount of time swings. Yeah, we're just gonna keep progressing now through the weakness order, obviously. Dive Man is a pretty consistent stage, and the reason I say that is because a lot of movement here is a little tricky, and so a lot of runners get very systematic in their routing for this stage and do the exact same things all the time. In Mega Man 4 and 5, you actually can't jump out of a slide while your sprite is overlapping a foreground tile. And water is considered a foreground tile, just like ladders or anything like that. So the entire time Mega Man is underwater, you cannot jump out of a slide. You actually have to either cancel the slide first or wait for that slide to end.
Want to call your attention to the camera whenever lookintoad gets to these whales. He's adopted the Prizzy method of teeth mashing. So he'll actually bring the controller up to his face and press the fire button with his teeth.
Bold strategy.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Those mini bosses there, if you don't know, they are the whales in the stage. There's 2 of them. But we've used Flash Stopper again to halt them in place before you actually can see the sprite. And the idea is to try to mash them down and kill them very quickly.
So there comes Toad with the teeth mashing. Look at him go. Whatever works.
Clean 2 jump.
Hey, man.
Do whatever it takes.
All right, so you saw that little pit there that Toad had to jump over. If you do fall into that, it's not actually a death pit. It actually takes you to the wire.
Worse than a death pit.
Yeah, pretty much. It basically is a death pit because it'll cost you like 30 seconds if you're to actually go down all the way
Probably
down.
more so, yeah.
And grab
And
it, so.
like I said, unlike the balloon, it sends you back
yes.
to the checkpoint. So it's even more time loss. You have to replay screens. So yeah, dive pretty consistent. You kind of just use the shield weapons and hop back and forth over top of them. Pretty nice fight there.
see if
We're gonna try to get this animation skip here. Oh, we got it. Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Toad
nice.
got it. Yeah, so you can see what happens now. Toad, yeah, so it just goes straight up. You don't see the weapon get animation. It just goes straight up, so it's great. Yeah, it saves like what, like 1.5, 2 seconds?
It's significant, actually,
They've got
yeah.
it too.
Normally the pixel saves, normally getting the magic pixel will save you probably about a second, maybe-ish per stage. This one is significantly more because of how big the jump is underwater. You actually, save close to 1.5 to 2 seconds getting this one with the animation skip. It's pretty good to get this one. All right, everybody's favorite boss. Drill Man is coming up here.
Dive Man number 2.
Yeah, this is obviously, if you've ever seen a speedrun for Mega Man 4, if you ever have watched one, you know probably already that this boss is one of the heavier parts of RNG in this game. He likes to dive underground, and when he does, you lose 4.3 seconds every time he does. So it's a pretty significant time loss, and it's not uncommon to get 1 or 2 dives typically per fight.
Yeah, I want to kind of point your attention kind of later on in the stage, towards the last half of the stage. You're going to kind of see the difference in just like how optimized their movement is. As Chelney, of course, referenced with Bright, you know, when they're sliding, it isn't reducing that timer, right? So how optimized their slide movement is going to determine just how early they may have to use like another Bright in the last room, which is coming up on Team Mr. X for lookintoad. So yeah, let's see how he does.
Gotta turn these switches on to make the next platforms load in. If you don't, you will fall into the pit, basically. So.
Yeah, so right there, that's really well done by Toad there.
The enemies didn't even unfreeze. Right at the end, but like that's fine.
Yeah. Let's see how the other 2 are doing here. Oh, yeah, so a little dicey there for stage, but on Team Cossack, no problem there.
So Drill will always dive underground here right away. That's scripted. You can't make him not dive at the beginning, so that one we don't really count. But now starting, we kind of want to see how many dives we get. Hopefully we get 0. There's 1 already.
Not friendly to Toad.
They're doing these empty hops to try and like buffer when Drill Man's gonna hop out of the ground again.
So we got 2 dives for Team Mr. X. We got 1 dive for Team Cossack. We have 1 dive for Team Darkman. Drill just doesn't like anyone right now.
He's camera shy. He definitely doesn't like to be.
Wow! What is going on for Team Cossack?
Riley getting a nice pattern here now. Finally, we want to see that long walk, and he's out. So as you can see, Riley getting to the fight after Sage, but he leaves first, and that's just again a major factor of RNG in this game. Though he is not the worst bit of RNG in this game, that's still to come in a few more stages. It's true. So
my favorite.
The downside is you do have to fight Drill twice in the run. Obviously, true.
So all
right.
This must be Lookintoad's favorite stage.
I think it is. Yeah. It's his spirit animal.
That's right.
So we are going now into Toadman stage. A lot of people will laugh and joke and cry about how easy Toadman is. That is the boss fight. This stage is actually significantly difficult to do quickly. There's a lot of different mechanics that work against you. The rain pushing you backwards here, and then as you can see Toad coming into this next room, you've got the waterfalls that actually push you forward. So not only do you have to get used to the movement pushing you back, but you now also have to get adjusted to it pushing you forward, and being able to react quickly to those different speeds is actually really tricky when you're first picking this game up.
And to react quickly to weapon drops that are pseudo-disguised by the flow of the waters.
Yes, absolutely.
So unfortunately, we did have our first death of the relay for Team Darkman. Riley taking a death on the first screen. This might trip him up a little bit in terms of bright usage, so I'm going to see how he's going to adapt to that.
So these are also mini bosses that we are skipping by flash stoppering them. There is an invisible wall for this one if you let the snail fully spawn. But if he doesn't fully spawn, it doesn't pop, and you can just sneak on through.
That damage boost always scares me. The back damage boost over the pit.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
Nice, very nice. Looks like Raleigh over here should have enough bright usage here.
Yeah.
He got that lucky weapon drop, which is great. So now he's able to use one here, and one should be enough for this final screen.
For sure, yeah. So an 18-17 out of 8 robots is actually very, very nice there for Toad. We're looking at actually a very low 38 pace, which is really solid for a marathon run. So we are heading now into the castle stages. Dr. Cossack's castle, probably, I mean, I like this whole game. I mean, I'm biased, maybe, possibly. But these first 2 stages of Dr. Cossack are significantly good speed stages.
Yeah, I love these stages.
There's a lot of really nice, quick slide movement and a lot of like fast mashing, especially in this first room with the tomboys. So we'll see how it goes.
Very interesting. So actually at the start of Cossack 1, there is an E-tank that they can get if they choose to slide to the left. So Toad opted not to get it. We'll see if Sage and Riley decide to get it. You know, it just costs maybe like a second and a half to. Not really that big of a deal at all.
Sure. And yes, it's like Sage is grabbing it. The only major downside you may have noticed, obviously with those slightly slower boss builds, it also carries over to when you use E-tanks. So if Sage does elect to use that E-tank down the line, it is pretty time costly, but it is still better than faking a death.
Sure.
Because unfortunately in Mega Man 4, castle stages do not have checkpoints at the boss corridors. So if you die at the boss, it sends you back to the mid-checkpoint of the stage. Ooh, Toad taking a little fall there, unfortunately.
It's okay, it's not the end of the world. He's still alive.
Yeah,
he's just be a balloon ammo.
He's down 2 balloons, which isn't too costly. He should be able to make that work. But it is something he needs to remember for the next stage there. Ooh, this room is a little bit tricky.
Is he gonna take the extra ammo?
Yeah.
He's gonna go up top.
Good try.
I like that.
And just like that, Sage is actually gonna just about.
Yep.
All right.
We got a lead change. Very nice. The Team Cossack now in the lead.
Toad quickly gonna reload this room just so that he can take the D-boost on the enemies correctly. Okay, nice.
So now we're to the boss, Moth Raya.
Not Riley. Also through. All right.
Nice. Good job.
Very nice.
So yeah, Mothra, he's a little tricky, and it's mostly not really his fault. His hitbox is that small little circle in the middle of his mouth, kind of. Unfortunately, the ring, despite how big it looks on screen, the weapons in this game only actually have a single pixel that they can land hits with. And that's why it looked like that ring for Toad went right through the hitbox, even though it didn't land. So you do have to make sure your shots are very accurate on bosses.
Bit of a scary fight there for Looking Toad on Team Mr. X. He had very low health, but you know, he managed to navigate it great. One thing to keep in mind is Ring is very powerful throughout the Cossack and Wily stages, so it is very critical that they handle their Ring and Dust Ammo in particular well, so we'll see how they do throughout the rest of the stage.
I do want to bring attention to Sage's screen here. We're going to start seeing some really sick balloon tech. Got a nice double balloon. He's got the nice double ladder balloon also, which means he's going to want to grab this ammo and hopefully have 3 balloons for the second half, or the second long ladder near the end of the stage. We'll see how that goes if you can get there with all these extra balloons. This is a kind of stressful room to watch. Typically in a run, it's not too dangerous, but when something goes a little bit awry with your movement, you do have to be very careful because there's a lot of spikes, obviously, and you need to make sure you're using your iframes effectively. Everybody looking like they're maybe going to get through. Yes, Riley's through.
Looks good.
Oh, Toad falling there. That's not a great thing for Mr. X. You have to be very careful with health management throughout this stage because you will be very low heading into the boss.
All right, let's see if Sage can get this last triple. Hot,
wow.
hot.
Excellent,
wow.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Stage of Team Cossack. So now we're coming up to our favorite boss, Chelney, the Square Machine.
Yeah, we got Square Machine. This guy is rude. So he can, yeah, do you think so? 2-2? I'm going to say 1-3.
3-2.
All right.
Okay.
2.
Okay, well, you know, screw usually.
So what are we saying here? What are these? What is this numbers that we're coming up?
So we're talking about how many times Square will pass by. He will only come together so you can hit him, like you see Sage now fighting him, when he does the slowest cycle pattern. And he has the possibility of doing a 3 like he just gave to Not Riley, which is a fast, medium, slow. And when he gives you that one, it's like a 50% chance to get that pattern. The 2 pass is a 40% chance, and the 1 pass is a 10% chance, which is why it sucks in the speedrun, because to get the best pattern in a 2-cycle boss fight, you need to get 2 1s, and that's a 1% chance.
Oh, Team Darkman, Riley getting the 1, the 3-1. Very nice.
3-1.
Very nice.
Very nice. And he gets the kill. So just like that, we've now got another shift.
Unfortunately, lookintoad for Team Mr. X getting the 3-3, and out of no, he did nothing wrong, and now he's just losing many seconds. Because of
the difference between the 1-1 and a 3-3 is about 12 to 13 seconds. So it's almost unfair that you have like a massive chance to lose a ton of time.
Yeah.
So now we are coming into Cossack 3, which basically 90% of the stage is an auto-scroller. So at this point, there's really not much to talk about. There's a few small things we're going to be doing throughout the stage. Hopefully there's no deaths. But so I think this is a perfect time for donations. Edo, if you want to take it away.
All right, we have a $666 donation from The Pawn that says, some of us are watching from home, and some of us are in the audience tonight, but everyone from The Pawn is here and cheering you on. We are so proud that you've made it to the big stage. We all want to say how grateful we are to be part of the amazing community that you have brought together, whether it is through love of speed gaming or your legendary Toad Talks. We're all here for the good vibes. Slight smile. Good luck to all the runners, and in the immortal words of lookintoad himself, shut up and love yourself.
Riley coming into that one room that we talked about where there's no auto-scroller. You do want to make sure you don't fall there. Those Gariol actually only take damage from Ring and Pharaoh, so they're a little bit tricky, and Ring Boomerang is a little bit janky sometimes. Yes. He gets through that really nicely.
Yeah, we got time for, I think, 1 or 2 more donations.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, we have a $25 donation from Garian that says, for once, I can actually watch the Mega Man Classic block. Let's get a donation war starting. Mega Man 4 is the best classic Mega Man. Ooh. Stop, people don't agree with that, I'm sorry. And then we also have a $25 donation from Avenger339 that says, super fighting robot, Mega Man.
Right, so Team Cossack up to the boss of Cossack 3.
Yeah, this is actually 2 bosses in one. They share the same health bar. We're going to try to get a double hit here. You're going to see on Sage's screen here. Nice. Look, he's going to get that second hit with the same shot. And then as this one comes around, he's just going to look for the, yes, that's a good pattern. We want to see that large shot there. He can also throw 4 small shots, and that is actually quite slow. Unfortunately, Riley must have caught a half charge damage. Yeah, so now because of that, actually Riley's ammo for Pharaoh is going to be actually kind of low. So we're probably going to see him pick up a refill here in Cossack 4 in the next stage.
Yeah, Mega Man 4 does not have any M-Tank or S-Tank with a weapon and health equivalent tanks. So if you're low on ammo, you have to find it in the stage or game over or farm.
They all got the same luck on that fight. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Toad was also a little bit off on his Pharaoh usage there, so he should be okay, but he might opt to get like a few safety ammo.
And even Sage is going to grab the safety. Probably a really good choice in a relay race.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you've got 2 other teammates depending on you. So
yeah. So the most important thing about Pharaoh is for the final boss of the game, it is weak to Pharaoh, and if they run out of Pharaoh ammo, that's it. They just have to die and try to refill their Pharaoh. So or game over.
Yeah, because the only other weakness is Ring, and likely they're going to be out of that weapon once they get there. So yeah. So Sage still has his E-Tank, so I think he's just going to decide not to take that one, which is probably smart.
Yeah, Cossack 4 is pretty straightforward stage. Not really a whole lot going on.
Yeah, not too much.
Boss.
And the catcher fight itself is kind of similar in a way to like how Pharaoh shot works. If you slide, it halts Cossack catcher's horizontal movement. So if you keep sliding in the corner, which is kind of convenient, you can kind of lock him down in a spot. So we'll probably see a lot of that here. The guy's trying to stay on the far right side for most of the fight.
So you can see on Team Cossack, Sagehero kind of manipulating the boss to make sure he just like stays there and it's a pretty easy fight. Interesting thing is most fights actually have a weakness of like dust or ring, but obviously you can't have enough ammo for all 8 stages.
Right, yeah.
You have to kind of improvise here.
I think dust only does 2 to him,
Yeah,
right?
2. So I think with that, you know, it's a pretty down period right now. I think we have time for a quick like donation.
Sure.
All right, we got a $500 donation from Conkers that says, had to donate during the Mega Man Relay and shows support for my good friend lookintoad. So proud to see you on stage at GDQ. Woo! Yeah! Did a clap for that one. We also have a $555 donation from Mr. Cab 55.
There it is.
Nice.
There it is. If the pharaohs looking up at the stars had caught wind of this relay, they would say it was a bright idea. The gravity of the statement should light a flame under us all. So ring in the new year with your gyros to navigate the blizzard of dusty crystals gathered on plants. Get your skull barriers, napalm bombs, and silver tomahawks ready and dive into happy stone cold speedruns with the Yamato guaranteed. Make sure those drills are charged overnight, and oh wow, and help lookintoad make waves singing the Centaur Man song for everlasting peace. Wow, Mr. Gav.
How does he do it all the time?
That was a really high density of references.
So we're into Wily 1 now. This stage is probably the most technical stage in the entire game. There's a lot of small slides. We're seeing the water return just like we saw in Dive. So again, no jumping out of slides underwater. And yeah, a lot of really short slides, a lot of multiple mets of like the single damage ones, but also the spinning ones that take 3 damage, and you need to know which ones are which so that you have the right weapon ready to go.
Yeah, and you don't want the mets to fire, and you don't want to fire extra bullets because, again, this game is extremely laggy.
Yep.
I do really enjoy this stage. I like that the only enemies in this stage are the mets, and the boss is, spoilers, the Met Daddy.
So does Mr. Cab. Yeah, this boss is basically just a giant metal, and he has a little bit of randomness to him. He can open after 3 to 4 seconds, depending, and he can stay sort of short, or he can jump quick, like he did just there for stage. So we ideally actually want to see him stay open longer. So unfortunately, he's getting kind of a bad pattern here. We really want to see him stay open long here, otherwise he's going to get a 4 cycle. And yeah, he's going to get a 4 cycle, unfortunately. Just giving a little bit of time back to Team Darkman and Team Mr. X.
Team Darkman, not really, unfortunately missed one of the jet jumps, so he had to kind of wait a little bit on the second block puzzle. That puts Team Darkman and Team Mr. X really close to each other, so let's see who's going to get the better pattern.
There's a nice pattern there for Riley, really nice. He can get 6 hits in with that pattern. And also Toad getting in the same pattern here too, so that's really good.
Great, so yeah, it'll definitely be a 3 cycle for Riley here on Team.
Yeah, Riley got the best pattern actually possible, which means he's only got to get 2 hits here. Unfortunately, got a 4-second spawn at the end, but I mean, that's the way it goes.
Yep, and it looks like lookintoad for Team Mr. X is getting the same pattern.
Real nice.
Nice. All right. Wily 2 is an interesting stage in that you usually never lose time here, or you lose 20 seconds here. It's really hard to just... Sometimes this stage just goes all wrong. So it's going to be really important again, kind of like Wily 1 in that it's kind of technical as well, but it's a little more technical with regard to how you utilize Rush. You're going to use a lot more Jet here in this stage. We don't have balloons anymore, and so Jet is like our primary climbing adapter. And the nice thing, at least with Jet, is you can keep shooting once Jet is on screen, so you can still kill enemies in your path, like these Mamiras that Sage is going through. We've got a nice little cool trick here. If you summon Rush right away and quickly turn to the right, you can hop on Rush and not have to worry about him despawning when he hits the ceiling. That was a nice little strat found by Hypa.
Yeah, one of the things that I really find interesting about Rush in this game is that when you're hit, Rush will snap to Mega Man's position.
Which we're going to see. We're gonna see. Oh, he didn't do it. That's okay.
Odds are we'll see it in one of the others.
Hopefully we'll see it, yeah.
So Sagehero coming up to the boss of Wily 2, and he's opting to go for the ring wall strat. So this is a little bit of a risky strat, but it's definitely saving a lot of time. He's able to do it the fastest way.
Look how fast
Yeah,
boss fills
yeah,
are in Mega
yeah.
Man 4, guys.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
crazy.
really awesome.
You know?
Yeah, the Rain Flush will actually hit Taka Trash as his health starts to spawn. Unlike Mega Man 7, it doesn't kill him, but it does cancel
wonderful
that
fight.
entire
That was a
health fill.
fantastic fight. by
Yeah, really
Sagehero.
nice.
You can opt to play a little bit safer by using a drill on him on the first hit, and then you can actually go into the hitbox where it's no longer like you don't get hit by it anymore. So you just sit there, you know, spam your ring away, and it's just really safe. But it does lose you a little bit of time over the fastest strat. That's
Toad even going for the single block slides there.
Yeah,
That's
wow.
a little bit riskier, so he got through it though. Nice.
All right, so
And not Riley going for
yeah.
the
Nice
drill
fight.
blast. That was a really great fight.
Let's see if Toad's gonna follow it up as well.
All right. Taking a really smart hit there. He wasn't at the peak of his
Really
jump,
great.
and that allowed him to jump with iframes through the next ball. Really nice.
Yeah, that was a great adaptation.
So here we got Sage entering refights now. He's picking up very specific ammo. Obviously, we're very low on ring because we've been using it like crazy for all our boss fights. So we need a lot of ring, and we need to top off Dust a bit, because we're actually going to fight Pharaoh with Dust as well, because it's a soft weakness. It does 2 damage, which makes that fight actually significantly faster. We do not want to fight Pharaoh with Flash Topper. It's incredibly slow, significantly to a point where I think it's like 14 seconds.
Oh, yeah, it's all
slower. It is really, really bad.
Yeah, I actually really like the refights in Mega Man 4 because we can see a lot of soft weakness
Yes,
used.
this is one of the more unique pick fight orders.
Yeah,
There he
depending on
goes.
how many shots you hit or miss in some of the fights, you have less of the soft weakness used in the next fight, and it snowballs from there. So things can get really dynamic here.
Yeah, so now because we're already on Dust, we're going to fly over to Skull and take him out really quick.
So minor thing to note, Team Mr. X, Lookintoad is 1 dust ammo short of full. It should not be a big deal unless like he misses a couple shots. So
Sage did miss a shot there, so he got an extra shield, but it wasn't too costly, thankfully. It was a very, very fast one. So ideally, now we've always wanted to kill bosses near the center of the room, right? But now, because we have to leave the room at the teleporter, we want to be killing bosses at the left corner so that as soon as the boss dies, we can teleport out. And that's important because the longer you're on screen with those death particles on screen, that's really laggy. We want to get out of that room really quick.
That was
good.
4 hits, wasn't it?
No, that was 5.
That was 5? Okay.
Yeah, again, trying to avoid those HP values that Darkman mentioned in the first fight. We want to hit Bright with an odd number of skull barriers that does 2 damage each, and that will avoid those HP values for the flashes.
yeah, and the neat thing about the strat is we have 1 Rain Flush left, which is nice because we're going to use it on Drill here, and he's going to take 1 damage. And why that is important is because his weakness actually does 3 damage each hit. So 28 health, minus 1 is 27. Well, there you go. That's 9 hits instead of 10.
Yeah, and since you can't hit him anyway, since he dives right at the beginning, you might as well.
Yep.
So unfortunately there, Sage getting a dive. There's a nice walk pattern, so he should be out of this
Really
fight.
good, 1
Not
dive.
too bad. Into Toadman again. Riley getting a nice pattern from Drill there, getting the nice long walk. Hopefully gets a second one. Oh, gets 1 dive as well. So
Let's see how Lookintoad's going to fare. So far, pretty good.
wow, really nice. Well, actually, this is the best pattern if you can get all 3. He just misses it by 1, unfortunately.
Yes, the drill man misbehaving in the first fight, but it's pretty nice in these
Yeah.
in the refights.
Ooh, actually, Riley takes a body hit from Toad, and that might be significant. Yeah, he's gonna grab his
Yeah.
health here. That's probably a good choice. So finishing the refights now on Dust again, because we want to be on ring for phase 1 of Wily Machine. Ooh, Sage getting some lucky there. Oh,
Okay, still fine.
he's still fine health-wise, but again, a couple sucks, so he had to take a few deboosts.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he had the health for it.
Yeah.
So.
It's definitely a little bit more concerning because, you know, this final phase, you have to go in with the health that you have, so you don't want to take too many damage boosts here.
He is short on ammo, though, unfortunately, I think. It looks like maybe he might be one
It looks like he
shot.
started with 8.
Yeah,
I
so
think
he's
one short.
going to actually be 1 short, which means he's going to have to switch to Buster here.
That's unfortunate because he's going to want to use Drill at the end here. Ooh, or he's not going to.
So Yeah, you want to use drill here because it lags the game hard enough that it skips the health fill and he starts right away again.
Sage might opt to use the E-Tech
Yeah,
here. It's going to
probably
be...
He might, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to wait because he can afford to take one more hit.
He
here.
can, yeah, and he's good.
Perfect. All right, well done, well done. So Sage was thinking about it when he was in the screen.
he was.
He opted not to.
Yeah.
He made the riskier play there, and it paid off for him.
Meanwhile, Toad and Wily are like neck and neck right now. Very, very close between these two teams at the moment. Oh, Riley unfortunately fires his drill too early, and that actually means that the leg doesn't happen quite at the right timing, and he doesn't get the skip on the health fill.
This is a really interesting weakness for this boss, too, because if you fire the drill at him, it'll just bounce off. So you actually have to force detonate it beforehand.
Yeah, his hitbox is just out of reach of the actual weapon. If you were to coil up, you could switch to drill and actually hit him without needing to detonate it, but he's gonna do that. Yeah, that seems great, right?
So Team Cossack Sagehero is in the final stage of Mega Man 4, and as soon as he's able to kill it, we're gonna start the transition. But a little quirkiness here, you can actually get the final hit on Wily and still actually die, so just gotta make sure we get things properly here. Shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, double KOs do not work in 4 like they do in 2, so you definitely have to make sure you're not dead after you actually do defeat Wily. Thankfully, these guys got lots of Pharaoh ammo, like they grabbed the extra refills, so it gives them a little
hit
bit more.
for Sage, and
Very nice.
there we go.
Really good.
So
38, that's solid. Wow.
very good. So we're going to go ahead and do that 30-second transition for Team Cossack while they get set.
Meanwhile, these other two teams are literally... Oh, Toad does get a missed shot there.
Yeah, it's going to be neck and neck for Team Mr. X and Team Darkman.
Oh, just missing the double there for Riley.
So we have 10 seconds, I believe, for Team Cossack.
Nice. Nice kill there for Riley.
Riley's done for Team Darkman. And Toad should be coming up soon.
Ooh. Toad having a little bit of trouble here. It is a little tricky sometimes, but he's out as well. Solid. Three Mega Man 4 runs, all
very nice.
under sub 39:30.
Yeah, within 30
awesome.
seconds of each other.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
So
well done.
We are getting to Mega Man 5. I love this game, sometimes. So first stage of the game is, of course, Starman. One of the more difficult stages of the run, so they just kind of throw you right into it at the start. There's a lot of like little optimizations that you want to do here, and of course you have to deal with the low gravity in this stage, which is one of the more quirky things to deal with, especially because you don't really deal with it throughout the rest of the game. So you're going to notice right here, Feral for Team Mr. X, is going to be picking up the letters here. So there.
Quick correction, that's Team Cossack.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, please. Yeah. So there are 8 letters in this game. So you spell Mega Man 5 or Rockman 5, depending on what they're playing on. So they're playing Rockman 5, and that gives you Beat. So Beat's a really cute little bird that's going to be very useful in the later half of the game. However, if you notice on Team Darkman's screen, you're going to see Becco. He's actually not going to get the letter. So Becco's going to be doing the category that is called Beatless. So it's very interesting.
As a spectator, this is great.
Yes. So theoretically, it will save time. We'll kind of get into that a little bit later, but we'll talk about why. It's an interesting decision. So we are coming into Starman now for Team Cossack, and Starman's a little bit of a tricky fight here. So we're going to be using Buster here, and Buster will be able to shoot through the shield that Starman puts up as long as you're close enough to him. So he's going to take a damage boost at the beginning, and he just basically has to time his shots appropriately, such that he shoots through the shield while also kind of worrying about the invulnerability period. There's a very significant time between shots that bosses and enemies are immune to damage. You have to very much time your shots appropriately. That was a pretty good fight for Feral. Yeah. Going to be taking a little quick jump here.
Mache for victory.
I believe he got it.
Show it.
Excellent. So you see right there, you see that little weapon get, you see Mega Man jumped at a normal speed. Normally what's actually supposed to happen is Mega Man jumps at a very low gravity, so it goes up and down very slow. But he was able actually to do a little manipulation there that allowed him to skip that cutscene. So I'd say skip the kind of low gravity thing. So it saves like a 1.5 to 2.
If you watch Becco there, if you watch Mega Man fall after collecting the weapon here,
yeah,
that's really different.
Yeah, it just looks super slow.
But not only did we just get Star Crash, we got Super Arrow.
That's right. So Super Arrow is kind of cool. It's very cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's a very powerful weapon. Not only is it a weapon, it is actually an arrow that you can stand on in order to traverse through certain sections. The very neat thing about this arrow is arrow management. So if you are on an arrow and you're basically not on it, it doesn't use any ammo. So it just takes 2 ammo to fire the arrow, and then if you're not on it, it doesn't do anything. So what you're going to see them doing throughout the run is they're actually going to be like walking off the arrow, but they're actually not walking off of it due to the speed of the arrow. And this is very useful because while they're walking off and walking back on, it's not using that ammo. It allows them to conserve ammo, so that way they have like that little extra ammo they'll need to fire another arrow, because you only need 1 arrow energy to fire an arrow, even though it costs 2 normally.
Yeah, so if you can save just 1 ammo just from walking off the edge by constantly falling and getting picked up again by the super arrow, it can allow you to skip an entire extra screen.
Yep. So Team Caustic, we have Feral coming up to the Gravity Man fight. A little bit of an interesting strat that was discovered recently. Normally, this is a very pretty standard fight. Gravity Man always does the same thing, but we'll see if Feral's able to get the little fast strat here. So if he times his jump appropriately and gets this little second hit here, it's a little bit. It's a very hard trick to do, but if he was able to pull that off, would save basically a cycle there. So let's see if maybe the other runners may be able to pull it off. So we're gonna look at Team Darkman Becco here. Let's see if he can do it. A little bit off there, not quite. It was a little bit closer. So, and then we have Team Mr. X.
Hot dot with our last chance.
Let's see if Pot can do it. I believe.
We didn't quite get the release on it.
Yeah.
So, getting the standard fights.
Yeah,
which is
standard fight,
perfectly fine.
not a big deal at all. So we're now moving to Gyro Man. There's not really a whole lot going on in Gyro Man. It's all about little movement optimizations. Just making sure you use your arrow appropriately so you have the proper arrow ammo left. And also, past that, it's really just all about optimizations. So I think it's a pretty good time here to just kind of read off a donation or two.
Sure. Yep.
All right, we got a $10 donation from Conster. Conster here, I wish I could be there with all of you guys this year. Best of luck to the classic Mega Man crew. Obviously, Mega Man 6 is the best one. Commentators can decide where this goes. Oh! Sorry, Conster.
So unfortunately, Becco placed his arrow a little bit too high, so Mega Man wasn't actually fully standing on it. So the super arrow wasn't really carrying Mega Man as much as dragging him. So he fell off of it and wasn't able to ride across the entire screen.
Yeah, same thing for Pot. Unfortunately, wasn't able to conserve all that ammo, so...
Feral's
having a little bit... He'll be fine, he'll be fine. All right, perfect, very well done. So Feral there had to, like, of course, fall down the pit and, with the little tiles there to get the ladder.
That cave, notorious.
A little bit scary there, but, Feral coming through.
Nerves of steel. That was an incredible recovery.
All right, so getting to the last part of the Gyro Man stage. I think we have time for a very quick donation.
We have a $222 donation from Whoa Dr. Freeman that says, always loved me some Mega Man. Good luck to all the runners, and remember, Wily always wins. Any defeats on stream don't count.
All right, so we're now coming to Gyro Man boss on Team Caustic's screen. So we're going to be using Gravity. So Gravity is the weakness of Gyro, and basically will flash the screen, and he'll get hit. And you have to be very careful here, because if you use it too fast, it will use the ammo, but Gyro Man won't get hit, so that was well done. So as you can see, you have perfect ammo. So if you're just even slightly off, you use that ammo. And then you have to switch to Buster and hope Gyro
so bad.
Yeah, go up. You can lose anywhere from a few seconds to maybe 7-10 seconds. So
yeah, definitely the tendency with these full screen attacks, and we'll see it in Mega Man 6 as well, is to disrespect the iframes of the bosses. And you fire one too early, and then the recovery is embarrassing.
So this is going to be the first significant route divergence. Obviously, everyone's this is the same Robot Master order throughout. However, you're going to see very different stages. So for Team Caustic, Feral is going to be doing the Crystal Man stage as normal, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of let that play out. Well, it's very important we focus on Becco's screen to see him do the most important trick of the beatless run, and that is the Crystal Skip. So you're going to see him place an arrow. First, he's going to deboost and take a lot of damage. He's going to get to low health. And then he's going to place an arrow at the proper position. And what he's going to do then is he's going to take a death. And you're going to see exactly why this all works out. So we'll give it a few seconds while he lets that play out. Meanwhile, Feral going very well through Crystal Man stage. Crystal Man is a very hard... all right. It's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
Becco... Okay, perfect.
He got it. Nice.
So you see on Team Darkman, you see the top right. So you notice how that he's just dead, but the little red dropper there guy, he's moving, but his ball's not there. So what's actually happening is Becco is dead, but he's getting pushed. he keeps getting pushed. So he's going further south, and he's going to actually end up at the door screen leading into the boss. So it's a very strange trick, but this happens to work. Maybe about like 15, maybe 20 seconds if done optimally over the beat route. So you may be thinking now, wait, if that's 15 to 20 seconds, why don't they all do it? Well, you see, when you do it this way, you may notice on Team Cossack's screen, Farrell was able to get the letter. Because Becco goes all the way to the end of the stage, he's not able to get the letter, so he cannot get beat anymore. And this is going to be significant for later. So you can see just like the time savings. So like Farrell was significantly ahead of Becco. Now Becco's ahead. So yeah, it saves a lot of time, but we'll see if that time save holds up later.
And one other consequence. Well, first I guess we can talk about Crystalman himself. So Crystalman starts off, most of the bosses, if not all of them, are completely deterministic. So they'll take the same actions every time. Crystalman will always start by firing 4 of the glass orbs that will bounce around screen, and they want to damage boost off one of them and then use their iframes to absorb 2 of the other ones. And that just reduces some of the sprites on screen. We can see it here on Potdot's screen here. Yeah. So now it's just one crystal ball bouncing around screen. There's not a tremendous amount of lag.
Yeah, so a very hard fight, Crystalman to optimize correctly. So Palata for Team Mr. X did a very good job there.
It's also worth noting that now the 2 teams who played Crystal now have their M tank, and Becco does not. He will have to pick that up at a later date. That M tank will be very useful later in castles for refilling things like Super Arrow and other weapons.
Sure, right now, whenever you defeat a Robot Master in this game, you get all of your ammo back for all of your weapons. They're able to freely use as much Super Arrow ammo as they want. But in the castle stages, it doesn't refill at all, even between castles. So the M-tanks are going to be pretty critical for gliding across these screens.
I have to be a little bit careful there, both Team Dark and Team Cossack, in that little bottom stage with the little spike pushers there. If you are to accidentally just like be a little bit off on your shot timings there, you'll end up just like hitting that invulnerability period. The spike pusher won't die, and well, if you run into spikes, you know what happens.
Yeah, you might be watching this run and thinking, man, these guys aren't good mashers.
Yeah.
That's because enemies in this game have invincibility frames. They have 8 frames of invincibility frames. So mashing in this game actually doesn't help you almost at all. You need to time shots.
All right, so we're gonna see,
Major. Yeah, go ahead, Dark.
Yeah, so we're gonna see a little bit of a different usage of the bottom 2 screens. So you see, Team Cossack, we have Farrell using the Crystal strat, while Team Darkman, we have Becco using the Gravity strat. So they're actually not significantly different in terms of time savings, but they're very different in how you execute. So it all comes down to like a matter of preference. The Crystal strat is the slightly faster strat, but it's very minimal.
Yeah.
And it also the unfortunate consequence is you have much less ammo than Becco does for Team Darkman. So Napalm is a very scripted fight in that if you are far enough away from Napalm, he'll keep firing those missiles, which is great because you don't want him to fire the Napalms because it's more laggy. So you basically have to time your shots appropriately while staying far enough away from Napalm. So Becco did a very good job, and also Farrell doing very good for Team Cossack. Had perfect ammo. Yeah, so like I said, that strat is when you do the Crystal strat, it's a little bit more risky, and we'll see how Team Mr. X Poddot's going to do here. So he's going to be a little low on ammo as well. He has enough ammo. He has a little bit to spare, but if something even goes a little bit off, we'll see if he's able to kind of improvise here.
I think Napalm fight is one of the most interesting fights in this game. It's really interesting to watch different players fight him too, because each player has their own style, their own way of dodging these missiles, or not dodging the missiles.
So, has to be a little
please,
careful.
please,
oh no! So this is really bad now for Pada. He does not have enough ammo for Napalm. The good thing is, because of the way the Napalm bombs work when you're close to him, it's very easy to dodge. So he will most likely be doing that strat. It will be a little bit laggier, but it'll be very easy to kill him with the Buster in that way. So moving on, we're to Stoneman, Happy Stone as they call it.
Yeah.
Happy Stone. Stoneman is actually not, at face value, it's not a very difficult stage, but the difficulty in it comes from like the very optimized movements that there are. There's a lot of sliding, there's a lot of just very tight movements and jumps to be able to execute in the stage. And while you may not die a lot in the stage, you may lose a lot of time just being slightly off in your movement.
Yeah, Stoneman stage is it's pretty long, and there's a lot of wide open space, but you only have so much Super Arrow ammo, and you absolutely don't want to burn an M-Tank in this stage. You have all the castles ahead of you. So we're actually going to see them consume all of their Super Arrow ammo, and then use Rush Jet for the rest of it.
Yep. So we're going gonna come out to Team Darkman screen on Becco. This is gonna be a little interesting strat here. So he's gonna be using the rush jet here, and if he times his jet appropriately, he's gonna be going through these little pellets here. Oh, okay, opting to do a little safer strat there. I love it. So there we go. So he's able to get through that screen fine. We're gonna go to the last screen where there may be different strats here. Let's see what they opt to do. So there's a few different strats you can do here. You can opt to use Napalm, which it looks like Becco's going to do that. Is the harder of the two strats, but it's
impossible.
It is the one that saves more time.
He already killed the harder Met, so I'm not worried now.
Yes, absolutely.
Very nice.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, that first Met that you kill with the Napalm is the hardest part of the strat, so you have to do very specific small jump. So you see right there on a Feral's screen, he was not able to do that jump, and unfortunately just took the hit, but that's okay, because it's still worth it to switch to Napalm.
yeah. I mean, the Mets fire based on proximity, and the napalm launcher just like dribbles down onto Mega Man's foot. So it's really hard to find that window where you hit the Met before he fires.
All right, so back over Team Darkman got the pretty average Stoneman fight.
Yeah.
Let's see what Feral gets. So you see that Stoneman is doing like little jumps there. If he does a small jump, that's great because like he won't, you'll be able to hit him. But if he does the big jump, he's gonna go up and then he's gonna go down and he's gonna like go into a stone phase and you can't do any damage. So
Yeah, no happy stones really.
no happy stones, but there's one more. So
There is one more chance.
So back up for Team Darkman coming into Charge Man, and you know what? I think this is time to talk about our favorite screen and who we're dedicating this to.
Yeah, there's a screen in this stage filled with chickens. I can't tell you how many chickens are in there because there's just so many.
Sure.
And yeah, we like to dedicate these rooms because they're incredibly fun to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully the runners give us a good show for them.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah.
So who are we making this dedication to, BJ?
Oh, I believe. Oh, didn't he have a special request?
No.
I think the runners did have a special request. Yeah.
Yeah. And what is that special request, Chelney?
It was Josh Steiger.
Josh Steiger, that's
Yeah,
right.
Josh Steiger. Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah. Notorious run on Speed Demos Archive.
That's right. So yeah, coming into the chicken room that Becco is in right now is a very difficult room because as you can see, they're going through the entirety of it with Crystal. One of the few times you actually use like a weapon instead of like your Buster, because Buster is very powerful throughout the course of this game. But it's very interesting, kind of like optimizing your movement here and also like hitting the chickens correctly, so that way you don't like hit it too fast and then you end up running into the chicken. And the chickens are very laggy if you don't kill them fast enough.
Yeah, and one advantage with Crystallize that it hits both
So,
low and high.
Go ahead and interrupt you for a second.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we have some ammo here on Team Caustic, and
Nice.
Paza was able to.
Oh,
unfortunately,
it's a little low.
He was a little low, so he got a special ammo drop there, and as a result, he was able to do an arrow there. Would have saved time if he had it done correctly, but unfortunately wasn't able to. So now we're on Becco doing the Charge Man fight. This is a very difficult fight. They're trying to do a strat. So as you can see there, when you fire a Power Stone, it has the 3 stones on screen, and you can't actually do anything about it. You can't use it again until it's off screen. So you can use the pause in order to get them off screen, or you can see Team Caustic for Feral there.
Feral, yeah.
He's doing a strat in which he fires his Power Stones at the appropriate time and the appropriate spacing on screen. And what it does is, because as a result, those stones all go into Charge Man. Because those stones all go into Charge Man, even though only one of them hits them, they're all off screen. So now we can fire another stone even faster than usual. So it's a very hard strat to do because it's very tight. And okay, so we on pod dot screen for Team Mr. X, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
So Pod has the ammo now, so he has to fire very specific ammo here. He did it very nice.
that looks good.
That is like, I believe you have 2 pixels there to fire the arrow, so he did
Beautiful.
it perfectly there.
Beautiful.
So now he's just going through the entire screen. It's great. I love it.
Fantastic. We don't get to see that often.
No.
It's not common to get a drop there.
So now we are going to Wave Man, the final of the 8 Robot Masters.
Yeah.
So for Team Darkman, Becco is going to be doing a little interesting skip here, which is called the bubble skip. So what's going to be happening is there are going to be these little bubbles that are going up the screen. Normally you just have to ride them. They're really slow, and the small ones just break very easily. But what we're going to do is, if you place your arrows at the proper position, you'll be able to go up. As you can see there, Becco able to do that very nicely.
That is very hard.
Yeah, so it's a very tight window, and now he's going to be able to do a slide here. Opted not to do a slide there. Yeah, taking the boat.
All right.
So let's see if Team Caustic.
It might have just dropped the down input.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. So let's see if Team Caustic, Feral is going to slide here appropriately,
He
jump
does.
over.
Nice.
Yeah, he skips the cutscene trigger, so now he's
Yeah.
not on a boat anymore. He's just walking on water, because why not? And you can't actually see him, which is fine. Don't worry about it.
It's really important to not miss that transition.
Yes.
If you hit the ground before hitting that transition, you actually will soft lock. You'll watch Mega Man kind of like run across across and jump and run across and jump because he's trying to jump into the boat, but the boat's not there, and you just never gain control again. So we don't want to see that.
Yeah. All right, so we have a really, we have a quick moment here to go for a donation while we're doing this auto scroll.
We have a $50 donation from Soul Foxy that says, had to donate during Mega Man 5, which is easily the best Mega Man. We'll donate another $50 if I can get the crowd to cheer in agreement. Wait, I heard boos in there.
All right, so let's look at Team Mr. X, and Hot Dot is going to be finishing the bubble skip very well done. So now he's going to be doing the slide here, and let's see if he can get it and skip the cutscene trigger. Very well. All
right.
I think he's got it. Wait a minute. Whoa! What is he doing? Did he miss the trigger?
I don't know, man. Maybe.
Oh, he's fine.
Oh,
he's
fine. Okay.
What a jokester.
Oh, Hot Dot. You silly goose. All right, so now if you look on Team Darkman on Becco's screen, he is going to be going into Wave Man. So Charge Kick is actually his weakness. Very interesting thing about a Charge Kick is you don't actually use it by pressing the B, which is the shot button. You actually use it by sliding. It's a very interesting weapon to use, as you kind of saw earlier. So you just basically have to time your kicks appropriately while making sure not to get hit by the waves, because your health can be a little bit of a concern there going into the Wave Man fight, but Becco handled it really well.
So yeah, so as we saw, obviously Team Darkman picking up a little bit of time on the other two teams. Obviously being able to skip those letters makes a pretty large difference. But obviously now, going in now to castles, the other guys do have that advantage of, as long as they don't miss this letter. I didn't see actually Farrell's, but hopefully Hot Dot
Farrell has letter.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay, good. As long as they get their last letter here in this auto-scroller, they will have beat for the castles, and that will help them in a couple of the fights. So yeah, Hot Dot's got his letter. It's really nice.
So now we're going to the Darkman stages. No relation. So Darkman 1 is actually a very difficult stage. This first screen here is one of the most difficult screens in the entire game. You can kind of see these tigers that we have to kill. They're very precise in terms of killing them with your buster here. So we're going through a lot of just kind of low-hanging jumps that we have to do. Let's see if Becco here can get the old special here. Unfortunately, was trying to go onto that top platform with Rush Jet. If he did a proper slide and a jump, wasn't able to get it. But let's see if Farrell Pigman on Team Costa can do it. Switch to Rush Jet here. Ooh, beautiful. Very excellent job. So I was able to slide under that tiger and then hop on that top platform. That actually saves you probably a solid 1 to 1.5 seconds there, being on the top platform, not having to climb the ladder all the way up. So Becco and Team Darkman kind of going through the Darkman 1 stage. Not a whole lot really until we get to the boss. So let's see. Let's put our focus on Team Mr. X and Hot Dot. Let's see how well he does the first screen. So we have these Yoku block puzzles on Team Darkman's side. Just shed through them. It's nice. Don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, this boss is also probably the trickiest of the Darkman, Darkman bosses, actually.
So yeah, now we're coming to the boss. So basically, we're going to be using Wave. That is his weakness. And how we're going to be doing it is, basically, whenever you shoot a wave and it gets hit, you take damage, but it fires a bullet back at you. So you have to basically time your shots appropriately. And as you see here, Becco's intentionally taking damage. And what he's doing is actually a strat to get Darkman 1 to the wall. And when in Mega Man 5, when the boss dies against the wall, there's less lag because the whole animation dying is saves you a little bit of time there once at the wall as opposed to the center. Chelney, I know you saw something really cool.
Hot Dot is crushing these lag reduction strats in Darkman 1 here. Yeah, he got that nice little slide cancel 2-frame jump slide, and it's really sick. And I wanted to I was ready to ooh and ah on it, but I didn't want to interrupt. I was sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. It was good.
So Becco in Dark 2, there's an M-Tank at the beginning of the stage, and again, he doesn't have the M-Tank because he skipped Crystal Man's stage. So we're going to see some really interesting strats in mostly Darkman 3.
Yes, absolutely. For the most part, Darkman 2 is pretty similar here. Got to be careful here on this screen for Team Darkman. If you're just off a little bit on your slides here, if you get hit by accident, you're probably going to fall in the pit, and that is a huge death. We're talking about 35 to 40 seconds time loss there, which is very significant in Mega Man 5. So let's see if Team Caustic Farrell can navigate this section very well. So no problem. Becco going through the room, no problem. So the room that Becco is on, if you were to actually die there, that is one of the worst deaths in the game. We're talking about over a minute time loss, because that is right before the checkpoint.
And this is going to be the first difference with our beat routes now for the boss fights. both Feral and Hot Dot are going to be fighting this boss coming up with Beat, whereas Becco does not have Beat, so he's going to have to utilize his weapon sets. And taking that hit is a little bit scary.
Yeah,
that Pocapelli was coming for him.
Yeah,
He was right behind him.
A little bit of a tricky section here. So we're going to go ahead and let Becco fight the boss here. So he's going to use, I believe, Napalm.
He'll use Buster.
Oh, he's going to use Buster.
Buster,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Buster. Let's instead focus on Team Cossack for Feral Pigman. So he's going to be using Beast. This is the first instance of Beat you see. So Bee is a really cute bird, and it automatically homes in on the target that it's reaching.
That was an unreal fight.
Really nice fight.
Very nice by Becco. So you can see the way Beat is kind of working here. It's hitting it, and it's coming back to you, and it's hitting it again. So you have to be a little bit careful with how you manage the Beat.
Right.
So you have to be like basically away from the boss enough such that Beat comes back to you and then goes back to him before, or rather after that invulnerability period passes.
Right. Beat doesn't recognize enemy invincibility frames. He's going to attack as recklessly as he can.
And even if he attacks the boss and like doesn't hit it, it's still going to take up ammo, which is very key. Beat ammo usage is very key throughout the course of this run. But yeah,
doubly costly too, because when you use an M-Tank to refill the super arrow ammo, which is the one you care about, you're also taking the penalty from having to wait for Beat.
So we are now in Darkman 3. So we're going to kind of see a little strat divergence here, as Chelney mentioned. Becco's going to be doing this first screen here. This is the Widowmaker, as they say.
Yeah, the Widowmaker.
Well, there are some minor optimizations you can do. The biggest thing here is deaths are very possible, and most deaths in this stage are costing you an immense amount of time. So Becco here using Buster to traverse through this screen for the most part. That's no big deal. It's going to get there. And now you're going to see Feral's screen for Team Cossack. He's going to use the Super Arrow to get through this part here.
Yeah.
And the reason why Becco couldn't use Super Arrow is because he's going to be using Super Arrow right here.
Yeah, and he needs super arrow in the screen after this as well to do probably the coolest strat in the game.
Absolutely.
Looking good.
Yeah, so there he goes off early. That's totally calculated. Don't worry about it. It's totally calculated. So you see Feral there was able to go through the entirety of the screen with Arrow because now he's going to use his M-Tank and just replenish all his ammo. Meanwhile,
Becco's going to try and jump off of a
Oh,
deflected
very nice.
arrow. Yeah.
Very nice. Well
And
done.
still has one.
Well done. And now he has one ammo left. This is key because he has to go through this section, which he places the arrow appropriately. So you have a 2-pixel window to place that arrow in the proper spot. As you see there, if you don't place it properly, you're going to end up sliding into that little spike guy there.
What a great stage.
Yeah, that was incredible. The rebounded arrow jump is one of my favorite strats in this game.
Yeah.
And Feral was able to place the arrow properly as well. So now we're going to go into the little Dark 3 boss here, which really not a whole lot going on. The key thing here is avoid the rings, which they're doing it by timing their jump appropriately. So that way you don't get stoned. So if you get hit by one of those 3 rings, you just basically get stoned and you can't do anything for
Yeah,
like
you're
5
paralyzed
seconds.
for an eternity.
Yep, kind of sucks. So looks like Feral for Team Cossack's able to navigate the boss. That's a little swag.
Right.
Little swag stone. I like it. I
Nice.
like it. I like it.
Showing it off. Hot Dot just getting through using his M-Tank, so he's coming up now into these final couple of rooms as well.
Yep. So now we're going to Dark 4 for Becco, and we're again going to see a little bit of divergence here. So this is a very short stage. You're just going to kill these little, I guess break the little stone crack things, and they're going to kind of rise the platform up. So if you do it appropriately, you can like kind of optimize your movement here. Not too bad for Becco.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And let's see how Feral does here.
We get a nice long cutscene with our brother, maybe.
Maybe. It's Proto-Man. Wait a minute. Why is he? No.
Have to. Wait,
The strongest attack in the series.
there's 2 of them.
Oh my God! What is this?
Aha!
It was Darkman all along. It was me.
Darkman.
It was me.
I knew
All
it.
right,
I
so
knew it.
now we're going to the fight here. This is one of the trickiest fights to fight without Beat. So Beat makes this fight a lot easier to do, but without Beat here, you're going to be using Buster. And Becco's getting really nice, a lot easier pattern to use with Buster because if you try to fire through those shields, you're just going to tank. But Becco doing really nice. And
Great,
let's-
nice fight.
Team Cossack for Feral. Look how much easier it is. You don't have to worry about anything. You take a few hits because he just always goes after the boss. And you don't have to worry about the shields at all. So very well
Bird
done.
is awesome.
And with that, I believe this is a little long cutscene here. Well, you see it was wildly long, of course. So we have time for a donation or 2.
I just want to actually refresh everyone that we're trying to still beat the incentive for Animorphs. It's 60,000. Right now we're at 52,800. We're really, 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 really close. Speaking of which, $50 from Musnick that says T's Keys. We have a $500 donation from Coley Flowers that says Fight Mega Man for everlasting peace. We have a $50 donation from Kari700 that says, someone at work told me her husband was running Mega Man 5 in the race tonight, but I forgot to ask her what his Twitch handle is. So shout outs to Mary. This donation is dedicated to the two of you. Good luck to everyone in the race. We also have a $50 donation from Lena133 that says, obviously the best classic Mega Man is Animorphs for the Game Boy Color. Donate.
All right, so now we're in Wily 1. You saw Becco there pick up the E-Tank there, and of course the M-Tank. The M-Tank you definitely have to pick up. The E-Tank is optional, but very minor time loss, so there's no reason not to do it. Wily 1 is a very, very tricky stage. There's not only a lot of movement optimizations that can make it throughout the stage, also any death here is generally a very significant time loss. And there are multiple choke points in this stage, so I think it's personally the hardest stage given the circumstances of where you are in the run.
Yeah, Wily stages in Mega Man 5 are no joke. They're very, very scary, actually.
Okay, so yeah, Becco there doing a very tight arrow there. If you're just a little bit higher than what he was there, you're going to end up sliding right into the spikes there. So very well done by Becco. And of course, Farrell was able to do it. Ooh, did he get the... Okay, he didn't quite get the best strat there, but still very well done by Farrell.
The Crusher for Mega Man 5.
Yeah. So the Crusher section here. Basically just... Oh, unfortunately, Farrell for Team Caustic placed his arrow a little bit too low, so now he's to navigate through this section here. He should be fine at this point. He's just going to play a little bit safe here. Let that spike roller go, and then he should be fine. All right, very well done. Yeah, playing it safe. I love it. All right, can Becco get the chicken jump? Yes.
Oh,
very
baby.
well done. All right, Becco got the chicken jump. Most important trick of the run. If you don't get it, you bring great shape. All right, so Becco now coming into the boss, which is the Big Pets. Very nice name. So normally what you have to do is you have to actually go stand on top of the second platform, and that's when Big Pets opens his eyes, you can hit him. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead, we're going to slide into him. And that way you take an intentional damage boost there, and that allows you to fire your crystals at the appropriate interval. And Becco did that fight perfectly. So
Yeah,
well
Big
done.
Pets is only vulnerable when one of the platforms is out. That's when his eyes open up. So yeah, that was incredible.
So let's see if Feral Pigman on Team Caustic can get that done. Not the easiest of tricks, and if you do mess it up, you take a lot of damage from Big Pets, so you kind of have to improvise a little bit if you do happen to not do it perfectly. But Feral, unfortunately, okay, so now we're at the point now where he has to improvise a little bit. So if he gets even one hit here, he could be in trouble, but very well done.
Very
Navigated that perfectly.
Very well done.
All right, Papat Dot for Team Mr. X. Can he get the chicken jump? Very important.
Oh, the drop.
He got that drop.
Yeah,
He
drop.
a little bit. That's all right. He tried. I appreciate the effort.
All right, so once again, we have an underwater stage, and just like in Mega Man 4, you cannot jump out of slide when you're underwater. And there's pretty common death there.
Yeah, just a little bit. Ooh, so
Nice.
that jump that Becco just made is a very tricky jump. If you're just off a little bit on your slide, you're going to end up falling into that pit. So. For Pata on Team Mr. X, let's see if he can do the Big Pets fight perfectly. Well done. So, unfortunately, he was a little bit low on health, opted to fall down instead. So, he lost a second or two instead, but that's fine.
Yeah, Becco taking damage intentionally by a bullet from the Met, so he can jump through these banana peels in this screen.
Feral for Team Caustic navigating through the water, underwater section, very nicely done. And now Becco is coming up to the... Oh,
Nice little
got
jet
that
slide.
little jet slide there. It's a very tricky strat, more newer strat there. It saves a little time there, so that's awesome. So now he's going to be coming up into Circling Q9, excuse me. As Papad's favorite boss.
I've heard this. He even drew pictures of it to honor him.
So Q9 there opens his
Beautiful
at random
pattern.
times, and that was the earliest he could open his doors there. And of course, only if you only if he opens his door can you fire a gyro and hit him. So he got the very nice start to that fight. Tinked a little bit, which is fine. Still a very nice fight. Well done. So
Feral with the clean jet over the chicken as well.
so now, a lot's going to be going on in Wily 3, so I'm going to do my best to explain as much as possible. So we're going to have a cool trick called the refight skip. So normally, of course, as you know, in Mega Man, or all the games you go through, you fight all the Robot Masters again. We're going to skip 7 out of 8 of them. And how we're going to do that is by doing a little nifty trick with the super arrow. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to kill Napalm Man, which is the center right one. And this is very important because we're actually going to be going through that wall on the right. So we're going to be killing Napalm Man, and then we're going to be switching to super arrow once we get out. So let's see how Becco does. Very nice. All right. Just the same as the when you first fought Napalm Man. Very nice. So now he's going to switch to arrow. He's going to go on the ladder, put the arrow at the appropriate position, which he's got there, and now he's going to slide through. unfortunately wasn't able to. He has to do a little tricky
That arrow
slide
looks
there.
cool.
All right, there we
Okay.
go. Very nice. He's able to get through that wall, so the arrow kind of pushes him through the wall, and now we're on the Wily machine. And this is actually a very tricky fight. So he's doing a little strat here to fire 2 stars at him. So star is his weakness. And as you can see, you can only fire a star at him when he opens at the end, and then you can fire. So what Becco is doing here is actually counting the number of cycles that the Wily machine goes through. So like you go back and forth, and that's a full cycle. He can only do 3, 5, or 7 cycles. So basically, once he gets to the 5th cycle, you know he's going to do the 7th cycle. And as a result, you can time your 2 arrows appropriately, and then you can get to the top of the screen and hit him at the top, and then hit him at the bottom. So very nicely done by Becco.
Great fight. Farrell got a first try clip into the Wily press room as well.
So I believe he used 3 sets of arrows there, if I'm not mistaken, or did he use 2 sets? I didn't quite see for Becco. I don't quite see. So arrow management might be a bit of an issue here. We'll see.
He used 3. It was a triple-double, wasn't it?
I think it was. So if that's the case, he is a little bit low on arrow ammo here because, so for the next boss, which is the Wily Machine, arrow is in fact the weakness of the boss. And if done appropriately, you have perfect amount of ammo. So because Becco took 2 tries to get that refight skip and not 1, he may be short 1. Which is not the end of the world, but it is a little bit of a time loss. And let's see how much ammo he has.
Yeah, it looks like he's a little short.
Yeah, he's short 1, I believe, which is fine. So now Becco's gonna kill, and now we're gonna see the path divergence of what beatless versus beat. So Becco does not have beat, and he's gonna be having to kill Wily Capsule here without beat. So you're gonna kind of see a lot of randomness. So let's see where he spawns. So he spawns at the top there. You can't do anything with Buster. Meanwhile, Farrell's gonna have beat, and beat's gonna automatically track to the top and just kill him that way. So in theory, the way Becco is doing this is faster. In theory, because if you get all the bottom spawns, you'll save like a good solid 10 to 15 seconds over the way that Farrell's going to be doing the strat. But unfortunately, Becco's at the mercy of RNG. So he had a very nice pattern there. He was able to get the 6 hits in there. So let's see how he's doing. So unfortunately, not doing it. So it's going to be very tight between Team Caustic and Team Darkman. Becco may be ahead right now, but Farrell is going to always get those hits in as long as he times his beat hits appropriately. So it may very well, they may very well like end at the same exact time. Who knows? So yeah, right now Becco's ahead, but like watch out for Team Caustic. Farrell might just sneak in there. So
There's some rough spawns.
unfortunately Farrell missed a hit on beat, so he is low on ammo. He has to switch to gyro at the end to get those last 2 hits, or maybe a buster. Becco unfortunately getting very unlucky patterns. He's losing a lot of time right now. So he's able to get I believe he's able to get a buster hit right here. Yep. So he'll get a 6 hit there. That's great. So they're both really close. Like this is tense.
Yeah, I believe for the
All right, so
Okay.
1 down. So
Yep.
now Becco can switch to gyro. He's gonna switch to gyro, I believe here. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So and now, yep, very nice with Becco. And now Farrell is down to 1 more hit, and then he's gonna be done. So yeah, so Farrell was able to make up a bit of time here, just based on the fact that Becco didn't quite get the great RNG.
And that's the
now,
gamble.
Yep. And
yeah,
now,
and I believe you have to be
right.
3 bad cycles on Wily or fewer.
Yes.
For beatless to be faster, and he got 6 or 7.
So now Pot unfortunately didn't get quite the pattern he was looking for. Did not lose any ammo, which is fine. So opted to go with the little buster strat here. I love it. You know, going a little hybrid strats here. So he decided, like, you know what? I'm a little bit behind on time right now. So he's taking the risk.
He's
He's
getting
using
lucky.
gravity. He's getting these lucky patterns.
Wow.
And this is, in fact, saving him time over if he was to use beat, even though he has beat. So this is really incredible. Unfortunately, now he does not get quite the pattern that he needs. So he's going to opt to... He's sticking to his guns. I love
Yeah,
it.
well, he had to menu anyways, so menuing to gravity hold will still kill Wily a little bit quicker than using beat. Nice.
I actually did not know what Peapod did. You could do that, so that was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until like an hour ago in the practice.
Got the
All right,
track.
so now, yeah, he's got the tracker on Beat. Beat's going to
Yep.
automatically go to the next Wily Capsule hit, and there you go. That's GG for Team Mr. X for Mega Man 5. And now everybody's on Mega Man 6.
Yeah,
Final game.
So Mega Man 6 is quite a bit different than the other 2. The main difference is that the slides can't just be cleanly jumped out of. You have to do 1 of 2 different slide cancels. So if you're neutral on the D-pad, you're not holding down, and you press A, you press the jump button, Mega Man will stop. So you can slide cancel by like double tapping A, or you can slide cancel by turning around. So Mega Man 6 is a really demanding game, and also has some pretty bizarre physics here and there too that we'll see. But everybody is going to be starting with Windman. There are, I mean, Windman is really the route. There are technically 2 others that some people have done here and there, but Wind is the one that you want to start with. Yeah, it's just a stage that doesn't really penalize you too much from using Buster.
Yeah.
And the boss is always within reach. Bosses in Mega Man 6 tend to jump a lot.
I saw that ladder jump.
Oh, nice.
Hot. Yeah, Wind is, like I said, it's a fairly easy boss fight, so it's nice to do early. And the stage really doesn't gain many advantages having weapons. And having Wind itself is really good because we want to go to get Flame fairly early in the route because Flame is a very good weapon.
Flame is devastating.
So having Flame Man's weakness is very helpful also.
So it should be noted that while Team Darkman is currently in the lead, Ohorn does have, for Team Caustic, does have a little bit of a better PB than Resistingframe does. So we'll see if maybe that plays into the outcome of the race. Even with no deaths, it's very possible Ohorn just might have a faster time than the Resistingframe over the course of this run. So we'll be curious to see what happens here.
And it is interesting too, like this is fairly new ground for RF playing on consoles.
Yeah.
So, he has been adjusting fairly quickly, thankfully, and so it'll be hopefully very smooth run for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in some of these Windman fights, you might have noticed that they were sliding back and forth like maniacs. Mega Man 6 is very strange in that every time you change direction while attempting to charge the Buster, it charges 1 frame quicker, I think.
Yep.
So it is technically faster to slide back and forth, constantly cancel while using the Mega Buster.
Yeah.
All right, so Flame Man stage is arguably the best speed stage in classic Mega. We're gonna get the roll and jump. All right. So the main gimmick here is that there's this oil, and you need these little, well, you need roll-ins. You hit them, they turn into these balloons that you can ride across. And there are these fire dispensers that are going to try and ignite the oil. And when the oil is ignited, you are instantly killed if you touch it.
Yeah, and it's worth noting if the oil does light on fire, it stays lit that entire time you're in the stage. So,
and others stay lit too.
Yeah.
Some of the oil pits are tied together. So in this final screen that we're seeing Resistingframe play now, some of these pits, instead of just being oil, would be on fire.
Yeah. Nice little spineless strat there by RF. Ooh, he does get sniped, but thankfully, actually nice that the oil got lit there because he was able to stand on top of the fire and get that height for the jump.
I love it, Resistingframe just sliding through the fire. Don't worry about it, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So really the only RNG we're really worried about in this fight is we don't want to see Flame Man jump. If he can stay stationed on the ground and do fire pillars and fire shots, that's what we want to really be seeing here.
So bosses in Mega Man 6 can't take the same action more than twice, which is a really interesting thing, unless you're Nightman, and Nightman does whatever Nightman feels like doing. So if Flame Man uses the ground fire, and you see him use it twice, you know that he's either going to use the fireballs or he's going to jump at you. So the fights are actually really interesting in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, they both got great flame patterns, actually. That's actually pretty rare. Usually you see him jump a lot more in the stage fight and a little bit less in refights, but those were great patterns.
Yeah, no complaints here. All right, so now we're going into Blizzard Man stage. There's a lot going on in this stage. Do you want to talk about this, Chelney?
This is a really, actually cool speed stage in a way. So, like PJ mentioned earlier about how you can cancel slides, on ice specifically in this game, you want to cancel slides with A. If you cancel a slide by turning around, you'll actually kind of rubber band the wrong direction. But canceling with A maintains your forward momentum. So anytime they're canceling slides on ice, they want to do use the A button for that, and you're going to see that some pretty cool D-boosts utilizing that. Actually, we saw at the end of the first screen, and you're going to see that as well coming up in a lot of these rooms. Actually, you saw an accidental turn cancel there from RF, and you saw that really tiny little rubber band there.
Yeah, he snaps back a tile and a half.
Yeah.
All right, so this boat is an infuriating screen. So this is essentially in a cycle, and they want to reach the end without having to duck into these little spike alcoves.
Yeah. Unfortunately, RF did get hit, so he's not going to get all the way across the sub in one go. We'll see. Yeah, he's going to have to slow down as well, unfortunately, there for Ohan. So, but still, getting out of that room without touching a spike is good.
Yeah, you see they've used the Flame Blast for nearly this entire stage. Even though it's the weakness for Blizzard Man, it's still fine. The Flame Blast does a ton of damage. It does 4 damage to everything in the game, well, every non-boss in the game. And for reference, again, the Charge Mega Buster does only 3, and you can rapid fire the Flame Blast. So it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's very, very strong. Both these guys are through Blizzard, which is great. We don't want to see rolls, unfortunately. We get an opening one there for RF and Ohan, so
has to be very careful with the ammo. He has that perfect ammo right now.
Exact.
Playing a little safe is great.
Nice.
Wow, Ohan getting a really garbage pattern from Blizzard here, getting a lot of rolls.
And he's also
that 4?
fairly low.
That's,
wow,
it was
this
a lot.
is incredible. I've never seen something like that
That
before.
was
Nasty CC.
that may have been max rolls, actually. That was unfortunate for him. So each roll loses maybe about a second and a half. So actually, RF getting a little bit of space
Unfortunately,
there.
Team Mr. X, Tarek's taking a death here, but
That's fine.
That
yeah,
is
that's like 5 seconds maybe.
Yeah,
like,
thankfully, it's the checkpoint room.
Yeah, the deaths in this game are notoriously quick, and especially if you die in a checkpoint screen, it's like essentially nothing.
Yes.
Not a big deal at all.
It's like making a movement mistake.
Yeah.
We'll see. Terex does go for margarine and doesn't get it, thankfully.
I do want us to focus.
quite get butter.
I do want us to focus a little bit on Tarek's screen because I wonder if he's going to do a certain interesting trick maybe.
I sure hope not.
I also sure hope not.
We'll see. I mean,
So Mega Man 6 has some really weird behavior with ledges, and there's always weird behavior with subpixels, so the two combined make just a complete mess of things. So you can actually slide underneath this pair of bombs at the end. Okay, he doesn't go for it.
He
That's,
doesn't opt to go for it.
yeah, that's the smart
Thank
thing. You would see his 2 teammates unplug his controller and enter it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that skipping eventually save like 4 or 5 seconds, but if you die, you lose like 40.
All right, so we're coming up to arguably, I think, the second hardest screen of the entire game. These guys are all going to be, I think, as far as I'm aware, going for the hard platform jumps as soon as they get past the second gorilla. What that means is they're going to be jumping off of a platform that's not technically supposed to be able to be stood on, and they have a few frames to be able to jump off of it without the game actually kicking you off. So if they continue to jump off of them, they can actually progress without needing to open them. And that's important because you can't open them with flames. So here we go. RF gets the first 2. Beautiful. Gets all 3 of them. So he's not out of the woods yet. These springs are a little bit tricky. We'll see. Okay, Ohan is opening the platform, so
I'll play a little bit safe here.
a little bit safer. And RF gets through. That's all you can really ask
that's
for.
incredible. Yeah.
That's a very scary room, and he does a very nice job. Ohan, very scarily actually comes close.
Wow.
He comes very close to edge clipping off of that spring. And that's very, very, that was very scary.
So now going back to Team Darkman, we're going to have Plant, and there's going to be a little bit of manipulation here to make sure you get the maximum amount of...
Yeah, we want to try to stand... Oh, he doesn't quite get it. We want to try to stand in the middle of Plant's hitbox to make him run around, because the game will make him run.
But
just
yeah,
like there, Ohan got...
Team Cossack, Ohan did a very good job getting those maximum amount of hits there.
Yeah, he gets, unfortunately, he only gets the 5, but I mean, that's still a really
that's
fast
still
skill.
fine.
And you see how much time he makes up on RF just by making Plant sort of walk around and do nothing. So, really nice.
But the real question is streamer one. It's a great question.
For somebody.
Yeah.
Terex also coming up on that really difficult screen. It's worth noting that for both RF and Ohan now, they're coming into 2 of the more, I would argue, easier stages of the robots. So they are in a little bit of a reprieve here. They can kind of relax now that they're at a plant, especially without dying. And whereas Terex here, he is now coming into this room, so hopefully this can go well for him as well. He's very low on flame ammo, actually. He doesn't have enough to finish this screen, so he's going to have to switch to Buster, but he does get his platform jumps. Very nice.
His positioning on that jump looks good.
Yeah,
I think,
looks good, looks good.
Yeah.
Yep. He will take the hit. Knockbacking
Yeah.
is a little, you might think that was scary, but knockbacks, thankfully, in 6 are a lot shorter. So he was actually fairly safe there. And
Yeah. Well done.
yeah, did a very good job considering the ammo that he had, so really
Yeah,
nice.
his options were to try and kill that turret with the Blizzard attack, which would cost 1,000,000 years,
Yeah.
or to switch to Buster and take an extra menu.
And
he also got the
gets the walk.
manipulation. He got
Really
the
nice.
forever walk.
Yeah, and gets
And
hit.
Nice.
There it is.
Found
there
it.
is.
We found it.
Nice.
Beautiful.
And despawned 7
Veteran.
bubbles on the end.
Veteran Mega Man 6 runner there.
While we have a quick second, maybe we have time to maybe get an update on how the Animorphs incentive is doing.
Yeah.
So right now we are at 57,625. We are so close, guys. We want Keys to suffer. Come on.
I agree.
I knew you would. Also, I have a $1,303 donation from Metroid4, who said, I had to donate during one of my favorite game series ever. Here's $1 for every day I've been cancer-free. This event is so inspiring. It's amazing seeing so many coming together for such a great cause. Thank you so much to you all, and keep it going. You are all awesome.
All right, so kind of like the gyro fight, we have exact ammo on Tomahawk, so we don't want to miss any shots, and really nice fight there by RF.
Yeah. So one thing you might be noticing after some of these boss fights, Mega Man 6 is super bizarre with its lag. So the first thing that they want to do after they kill the boss is slide, because the dust animation from the slide will actually despawn one of the death animation bubbles. So just sliding reduces lag, and then they want to try and kill the bosses on the right side of the screen, or rather, while Mega Man is on the right side of the screen, because Mega Man just being on the right side of the screen and jumping against the wall reduces lag. And if you're not there, then they want to try and take the next best option, which is just like tiptoeing forward. For some reason, these things reduce lag.
Yeah, and yeah, because it's on a timed from boss kill now in 5 and 6, unlike 4 with the sprites, that weapon get will start. So the more lag you can reduce, the better, and that's why killing him, at the corners is much better in these games.
Should be noted, we have about a 5-second difference currently between Team Dark and Team Caustic, which is
Yeah, that's
incredible.
insanely
This
close.
is incredible.
Really good.
An hour and a half into the run, so we'll see how that keeps going.
Yo, RF being very generous and leaving Baron's Dragonfly alive. I know these other guys are kind of rude and they like to kill him, so what a nice guy. Worth it. Saving the animal.
Love it.
So Yamato Stage, one of the things that they introduced in Mega Man 6 is the clone robots, or true and fake robot masters. I don't know what the real name is, but it doesn't really matter. For each of the fighter robots, so that's Knight, Tomahawk, Yamato, and the other one, Centaur. They have 2 boss doors. You can fight the true or the fake robot master, and if you fight the true one, then you get a piece of beat. They don't really care about beat, because beat is terrible in this. Capcom learned their lesson from 5. But in this case, it's faster to take the true door. You have to play like 4 screens fewer in Yamato Man Stage.
Yeah, it's the only one that we're actually going to go grab. The only beat letter, so.
So Yamato Man benefits the most, I would say, out of the 2 consecutive attack rule, just because he doesn't have a neutral jump. He can only stand in place and fire the spear or do jump plus attack. So you know that if he fires 2 spears, his next action is guaranteed to be a jump. And the Silver Tomahawk just happens to have an upward arc, so you can kind of predict him and lead him into it.
Yeah, the weapons in 6 are really nice. There's a good versatility to them in how they move and where you can hit things on the screen. It's really nice.
Yeah, and they're strong, and you get a lot of ammo for most of them.
Yes, this should be noted, even though there's absolutely no deaths, fine play by both players, just because maybe Owen has a slightly better move. He was able to gain 2 seconds over the course of that stage, so now just a 3-second lead between the 2.
Yeah, it's very close.
We'll see what Nightman has to say about that.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a really interesting room coming up where the ceiling is going to start to lower with a bunch of spikes on it. Normally in Mega Man games, when that happens, Mega Man will stand up after a slide, and if the spikes are there, you're going to die. In this game, Mega Man 6 kind of treats those spikes as a ceiling, and if he slides, he slid just a little early. Ohan gets it, and as you see there, it kind of extends the slide because the game sort of like treats it like it's a ceiling and gives Mega Man just an extended slide. So now, a nice sizable lead now. Ohan can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief and show off some of these fancy jet strats.
It is an appreciable lead, but again, the deaths in this game are so fast, and this was on the 3rd screen.
Another one, unfortunately. It is a really tricky timing.
Yeah.
You can make it easier by pausing, and that sort of buffers the ceiling a little bit, but it's still really, really tricky.
Very tricky timing. You have to realize that, these folks, all the runners here, they're not at home, right? They're not like their absolute comfortable setups. So just being even slightly off on, on the timings there can just trip you up on that.
Yeah, it's good adjustment, just taking the damage.
Yeah, taking the damage. Yeah, definitely.
And again, Resistingframe, I don't know if he's ever played on console before he came here. He's definitely an emulator player at home.
Yep.
So that's a really big adjustment to make. That timing difference is enormous.
Going into the bouncy castle room. It's a little bit tricky. Beautiful room, though. Does a really nice job.
And I just want to say, guys, that we had a $2,000 donation from Tal with a smiley face, which means Animorphs is good to go.
Congratulations, Keys.
RF had a really terrifying drop there in that room. Thankfully, he reacted very well to it and was able to stop his slide before hitting the spikes.
So Mega Man 6 has issues with trying to land on the close edges of platforms, and that is made even worse when you have high velocity, like in the bouncy castle room. So it's really tough to actually land on those platforms while they're accelerating you downwards. Even if it looks like you're landing like half a tile in, Mega Man 6 has a tendency to just push you straight off.
Yeah, fall speed is really interesting in this game. Actually, in most games, you'll see runners try to do like these cool little edge jumps where they like jump perfectly to gain a little more momentum as they start to fall past an edge. In this game, you actually gain speed faster by sliding off of edges because of that. It's so bizarre. You just hit max velocity when you slide off of an edge.
Yeah, Mega Man is really heavy.
Yeah.
Interesting,
Heavy boots.
interesting weapon that his Knight has. A little bit quirky in how you use it.
Yeah, the Night Crusher is incredible, really.
Yeah.
It pierces, if it kills its target, it pierces. It does 3 damage, so it's, again, the power of a fully charged Mega Buster. And you get 28 uses of it, and 2 can be on screen at once. So the weapon is incredible. It's extremely efficient. Nice. So Centaur Man stage has a lot going on. If we watch the first screen here on Resistingframe's feed, he's coming up to the Miracle Jump. Okay, yeah, just playing it safe is fine.
Totally fine.
So the water physics in this have some quirks. Everything's fine.
This is fun.
For some reason, if you try and take that 2-tile jump, the Miracle Jump, a little bit too tight, the game gives you a full height jump, no matter for how long you press the button. If you press for 1 frame, you'll still get a 3/4 height screen jump.
Ladder jump, second try.
Nice. Okay, Centaur Man is a pretty straightforward boss. He can either walk towards you or teleport. Teleport is what you don't want to see. The weapon that you get from him is a Centaur Flash, which you will probably never see in the actual fight itself. If either Centaur Man or Mega Man are in invincibility frames, he's unable to use it.
Very quickly, just want to point out for Team Mr. X, Terex was able to get the Miracle Jump that we alluded to in the first screen. That was really nice.
Nice.
There's 1 teleport and just 1. So it's not too bad.
Yep. Yeah, and if you kill Centaur Man when he fires the spread shot, those bullets don't disappear when the boss dies, and the game can't draw all of those death animation bubbles. So he actually despawned a good amount of those and put some lag.
There's 8 stages left.
That's right.
Yep.
Here we go. Final castles.
It's been a fantastic relay, but we are not done yet. Just because Team Caustic has a pretty significant lead does not mean this is over. There are some very, very rough stages in the final 8, and there are some big time losses here.
Yes.
Yeah, the castle stages in Mega Man 6 have some exceptionally cruel bosses.
Yeah, ammo management is also incredibly important because there's actually a lot of Silver Tomahawk usage at the end of the run. So when they do get to X2, we're going to have to be very cautious when we shoot at that boss, and we're going to have to watch our ammo consumption when we get there.
Okay, so there are 2 different ways to get through Mr. X1. You can either take Jet and just fly above this whole section, or you can take a shortcut through the center of this tower and punch the glass with the POW suit.
Nice quick jet there by Owen.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, the Jet in this game is really difficult to use optimally.
30 frames.
Nice.
Perfect.
Very nice.
So the POW suit and the Jet suit in this game cannot slide. There is no rush coil or rush jet. You get rush POW suit and rush jet suit. 2 dog suits. So yeah, you want to use those like basically only when you have to, and then unequip and switch to something else you can slide again, because it's really slow to walk.
So this is a really cool boss fight because he doesn't actually have iframes. So we're going to try to fire flame shots onto the floor in a way that he'll actually just walk, sort of like move into them. So you see Ohan placing them on the floor and on the wall here and in the corner. Really nice. Getting the kill right in the corner. That's really nice.
Yeah, and one quirk too is that if a boss gets hit by 2 damage sources on the same frame, he doesn't take any damage. So it's important when you lay those on the floor that Mega Man is moving somehow, so that the fire pillars don't overlap in the same pixel.
RF taking it the traditional way on that fast window, unfortunately, does lose a little bit of time, but makes it
recommended
a lot more
way.
consistent. Yeah, for sure. So don't have to worry about doing that really tiny hop onto that roof with spikes.
I really like X2. This is a really cool stage. I don't like the boss, but the stage is awesome.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. He's definitely the worst boss of the game.
I don't know about definitely. There's a good contender in Wily 1.
Oh, okay. So yeah, very important to monitor their Tomahawk usage. Tomahawk is going to be very important throughout the course of the remaining stages. So, just being off by a few little shots can potentially kind of like trip them up here.
Yeah, and again, there are no M tanks in this game either. Fortunately, they are pretty generous with, well, now they're extra
All right,
generous.
why not?
With full weapon ammo drops, or large weapon ammo drops, rather.
Oh, I was going to say, with that extra ammo, he probably could have killed all of
Yeah, I
those
think
mechs if
he
he
could've.
really wanted to, but that's fine. He's got lots of ammo.
With this
extra
amount of ammo,
weapons.
he could skip the low large ammo in Wily 3. He could take top path.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
So this is Power Piston. He walks up and down this wall. Wow. And it's completely random. And this Oh, this is more like
That was-
okay.
That was almost the hottest fight.
Yeah, wow.
Look at all that ammo he's got
That's
left
so
over.
much.
That's great.
What is that, 16 ammo?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, Power Piston is, that's fine.
That's fine.
Thankfully, he can
Those
jet
don't
out
have
of there.
spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These caution tape colored tiles are fake floors. So that one's okay to fall in. That's where they introduce that they're fake. These ones are not okay to fall in. All right, moving into X3, this is like the Rush Jet stage.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Terex for Team Mr. X taking a death, but that is the first screen of these stages, so it's not too bad there.
Yeah, we're gonna get to see a lot of like sort of that fluttering technique that you do with Rush Jet in this game. You'll see a lot of kind of them trying to hover vertically by like sort of quickly mashing A a little bit to prevent them from going too high and into the spikes.
And then they briefly unequip Rush Jet here just because, again, you can't slide with it. And it's worth, even though you have to use Rush Jet later in the stage, it's worth switching back to Buster just for these few, like 2 or 3 screens of sliding.
Oh my god, that leftmost rock is giving RF a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
Finally, it's leaving him alone, and he finally gets his hits in.
You saw the
Yeah.
true, you shoot the true power
Yeah.
right there.
He has 5 ammo?
Yes.
Yes, so
Okay.
he's got.
I think
he's got
that's the
enough.
minimum that you can get away with. All right, this last section always scares me in X3 because there's a Roland at the very end, and you can't charge Buster with Rush Jet, so you can't kill this guy. And it's possible for him to anti-air you right into the pit, and that's a very costly death, but he made it
Punch,
through.
punch, 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 punch.
Punch, punch. All right, let's see how Terex does in Power Piston for Team Mr. X.
He's moving all over the place, but Terex is landing hits, which is important. Finally settling down a little bit there.
That was sick.
That was
Really nice
very
fight.
nice
Really
fight.
nice fight.
Only 2 missed shots is outstanding.
And Ohan gets a pretty nice pattern from Matonga Z as well, so really nice.
Heading into Cossack, excuse me, Mr. X4. This is
This is
the most
easily
if not
the hardest
This is
stage.
the hardest.
Yeah.
This is the hardest stage in the game, yes, by far. There is, you want to go fast in this stage, you have to do a lot of slide canceling, and there's just no way around it.
And honestly, any death here is pretty significant.
Yeah, and depending on where you die, you can end up in an ammo crunch.
Okay.
Because you do use Night Crush for this entire stage now. The Night Crush just being able to, again, kill basically everything in one hit and fire it at certain angles. Makes it really effective at clearing the hazards out of the way.
RF is through.
Okay, so these little birds that pop out of these pipes, they're the main reason that slide canceling is so important. Because if you delay, then you're going to get different timings on the birds, different than what you're familiar with. So it's important that you move at a pace that you're comfortable and familiar with, so you know where the birds are going to spawn.
Yeah, Ohan coming now into the trickier half now of X4. These Coltons here, you have to be a little bit careful because they do fire pretty quickly. As soon as they spawn on screen, they shoot. So you do have to make sure your jumps are a little bit tighter. And then this last room can be very tricky, so I'm just going to stay quiet. Nice little slide there. And takes it a little bit safer too. Beautiful.
Very nice.
Really nice.
Well done.
Hold on.
I believe Ohan uses Flame on this boss.
Yeah, we're going to be using Flame here, and that's going to help us kill it a little bit faster because we don't have to charge up our POW shots.
Yeah, the POW fight is one of the most fun things in this game, but Flame definitely has an advantage.
Is
He
a
can do
little
it
off
properly.
cycle with him now, but that's okay. That's all right.
See how Resistingframe is able to navigate Mr. X forward here.
It's okay. Again, that shorter knockback is very helpful, thankfully,
Nice.
from some of these other enemies that can hit you. Ooh, almost missed the ladder there. That was funny. I've done that a lot.
Yes.
1 pixel. Ooh. RF actually hesitated there a second because of the way his night balls traveled, it could have, like PJ had mentioned about weapons hitting on the same frame, it could have actually hit on the same frame. So he was just making sure that the Colton actually died before jumping out over that pit.
Yeah, that was really good to recognize that in a job.
Yeah, for sure.
I have died from that so many times. All right, so Ohan is on Wily 1 now. Nice. The Wily stages are a lot simpler than the X stages. This again, you basically just equip Jet at the beginning and use it all the way up to this. This is another branching path. This path is only a few seconds faster, but
So you see Team Darkman Resistingframe opting to use the power punch here. instead
He
of,
did, looks like he did miss menu there, so
Yeah.
he's gonna have to menu again over to Spear. As PJ was kind of alluding to with potentially this being the worst boss of the game, the Spear is really fast in this game. It fires really quickly, and unfortunately, Mechasaurus's hitbox is fairly small. So there are dead pixels in the room where you can shoot your Spear and it will just miss the hitbox, even though you hit it. So we'll see what kind of strat he decides to go for. I think he's going for doubles
so.
here.
Yeah.
But if they have to fall back on it, the left wall can act as a perfect pixel for them. So we'll see if they have to utilize that later. Yep, he's going for doubles. Okay. A little bit of a combo strat there.
Okay.
Nice. Wow, really good.
Didn't miss any shots.
And
That's awesome.
As we see Mechasaurus killed, what is going on in
Wow.
our camera feed? The Team Mr. X, what are they doing? They're like transforming. It was Wily all along.
I get it. Amazing.
Amazing.
Good showmanship here.
I love it.
All right.
It was Wily all along.
This is the shortest stage in the game. It's a very, very quick one, and the boss fight at the end is very trivial. So really, the biggest thing here is not running low on any specific ammo that you're going to need for refights in the next stage.
And I'm wondering if it wasn't a missed menu, because he did collect the Wily 1 small ammo for Flame.
Okay.
So he might have intentionally, since he missed some shots on the X4 boss, he might have intentionally picked up some more Flame ammo. Maybe to use on the Mad Nerds.
Yeah, this is the scariest room of this stage in particular. It's a little tricky just because of all the slide canceling, and that was a beautiful
That was
screen.
incredible, yeah.
Really nice.
Checking on Resistingframe here for Team Darkman on the Mechasaurus fight. Let's see how he fares.
Yeah, getting a couple spears eaten there, as we can see.
And one other consideration here is that the Yamato Spear doesn't always fire straight ahead. It alternates between firing at a downward
Come
angle.
on. There we go.
All right.
So he is a lot lower on Spear, but he does have enough for the Nightman fight. It just means he might not be able to play as risky, which is kind of unfortunate because, like we know, Nightman likes to jump. And Tarek's actually, even despite any issues he had earlier on, he's actually very close catching up here with a little bit with Team Darkman. So
It was a very close race between second and third.
So here we go, refilling that tomahawk. Thankfully, like you said, he's not going to need almost as much, but he's still going to grab it all
Still grabs
anyway.
both, that's fair.
Might as well.
Yeah, again, Silver Tomahawk is the weakness for all 3 phases of Wily. So you want to have full or as close to full as you can possibly get.
Yeah, especially since you still have to fight Yamato.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Tarek's managing to down Mechasaurus there. Has a fairly decent amount of Yamato ammo there, so
Yeah.
Nice.
do that.
All right, yeah, so into refights again. A little more RNG in this game. Ooh! RF taking
The
that.
checkpoint's right here, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty short death and a
Yeah.
pit death, which
Right.
you'd mentioned earlier how fast those ones really are. You respawn so quickly. Yeah, those brain breaks, almost nothing in the game one-shots them, so you always have to fire a second one, and it's so easy to just accidentally pop.
Yeah, and while the Mad Nerds are being flown away by the tornado, they actually still have a hitbox. You
they
can
can
still
still
jump into them even though they're dead. Wow.
Nice.
The double
pattern.
fireball. into
Wow,
his
what a
face.
sick flame pattern for Owen.
He got
Holy.
only one roll on Blizzard, too.
Nice, nice, nice.
So the refights in this game has no soft weaknesses except I found out earlier, Plant Man. So you always want to use just the strict weakness on them. They're just going to be going clockwise around the room and using the weaknesses. So the main thing they want to do is just avoid taking damage because you have to collect the health afterwards to leave the screen, and you have to wait for your health to fill up if you do collect that.
Yeah. You'll notice something kind of interesting here. It's pretty minor, but at the end of this fight that Owen's doing with Wind, he's actually going to pause and switch to Knight before he picks up the health. And that actually stops a really minor slow menu that for whatever reason happens right here if you don't do that. It's so strange.
It's incredible. It takes like 3 seconds longer to open up the menu.
Yeah, Owen is having great refights right now. He's getting another amazing pattern.
No teleport.
It's just really good luck.
Getting a few rolls here for Resistingframe Team Darkman.
Yeah.
2 rolls, I believe.
Yeah, 2 is still very good. And again, since Ohan had such a great Mechasaurus fight, he's free to just like fire the Yamato Spears straight over Nightman's head and hopefully he jumps into him. All right, let's see again if he gets the manipulation on plants.
Very nice.
Wow.
And 6. Beautiful. Perfect.
Got 2 rolls for Terex for Blizzard, not too bad.
And he has full tomahawk ammo.
Nice. Really nice. Wow.
That was
what a
an
nice,
unbelievable refight.
amazing refights. Like, well executed and just good luck. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't ask for anything else there.
Nope.
So going into the final stage, there is one large weapon ammo refill. So he's going to equip Silver Tomahawk from the beginning, grab that, and then just use that for the stage. It's just a 2-screen stage and then the boss fight.
Yep. So the boss is 3 phases, and time will be on the final hit of the 3rd phase.
Yeah. And he's got very short iframes, so you can get hits pretty fast compared to some of the other Mega Man games.
We have a $1,000 donation from PM148. It says, from someone whose first Mega Man game was Mega Man Soccer. What is Mega Man 6? Is it canon? Nah, soccer's the true lore.
Getting a nice early hit here on phase 2, putting that tomahawk out. He had an amazing phase 1 there. Killing Wily on that left side is good. We want to see not top center.
Yeah, mid-right is the one that we want to aim for here.
These are okay. These are all right. You just need someone sort of more like that, and that's
And
time. Sick.
Wow.
What a sub 150.
That is
That's
a
incredible.
fantastic time by Team Cossack. Unbelievable. Anything sub 150 is very, very good.
Yeah.
We're talking about within probably on average within a minute of all of their PBs, which is incredible in this type of setting.
Yeah,
That was
there's
very
some
impressive.
of TB's is a 146.04. And again, they had to wait for a minute for the
Yeah.
with downtime.
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
swaps.
So
Wow.
we're talking about
Incredible performance.
basically within 2 minutes of their PBs as a team. That is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
Speaking of absolutely incredible, let's take a look at these 2 refights. Oh, he did Yamato first. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that order a lot. Still very,
Yeah.
very close on team now Dr. Wily. And Team Darkman.
I appreciate the team change. Very nice.
Nice Yamato there. Fight for Terex.
Is this going to be full?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, again, you need 26 Silver Tomahawk ammo if every single shot hits. You use 5 here and then 7 on each of the Wily phases. So we'll see how Resistingframe ends up.
Oh, Eddie gave us something. Ooh, I don't normally see that.
What a nice tank. What a nice tank.
E-Tank. He's a nice guy.
Nice, right?
Pretty good. getting that early hit again, throwing that tomahawk out. Very nice.
Play for Team Darkman.
And Tarek's right behind him, starting his phase 1.
Oh,
That's that worst
the
one. That's that one we don't want to see.
That's
This is the
great.
best one, though. He can get an off-screen hit. Nice.
All right, one more hit for Team Darkman.
Time.
Great.
Great job.
Great. Well done, guys.
And now for Team Dr. Wily, we are in the final fight.
It looks like he's got
Is that exact?
7.
I think it's 7.
And that's the worst spawn. Yeah, it looks like he's got 7. So
Yeah.
he has exact ammo. Nice. He gets
4 hits on that.
Beautiful.
Time.
Oh,
No!
Oh, no!
he doesn't have.
He has to use POW.
So he's gonna switch to Buster. It looks like he gets
Buster?
a nice
Okay.
spawn hit.
Time.
Nice.
Beautiful. He juked us.
Yeah, he did.
He did juke us. He juked me, that's for sure.
What a relay.
What
was
a
incredible,
relay.
yeah.
That was absolutely incredible. Loved it. Well
Well done
done.
to all our competitors.
Well done by all of us. 151.31 is the third place time. That is still a fantastic time.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
Like-
Before we sat down here, we were theorizing on what like a really
Yeah.
great time
Yeah.
would be, and this is all around like our most optimistic estimate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's pretty much going to do for the relay. At this point, congratulations to the winning team, Team Cossack, with a 149.15 time. So again, the participants of Team Cossack, Sagehero for Mega Man 4, Feral Pigman for Mega Man 5, and Ohon for Mega Man 6. So congratulations, and I think that's going to do it for us.
Don't forget, guys, if you are interested in speedrunning Mega Man, just go to megamanleaderboards.net, and you can find links there to find our Discords to join and pick one of these games up. These games are phenomenal, and the community is very supportive. So
Yeah,
if you guys
the
want in
community is
on this, definitely check that out.
Yes, absolutely. And that does it for us. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching this.
Amazing job, guys. That was an amazing, amazing race. Coming up next. It begins. How did I get pulled into this? Oh, that's right, because I like to see Keys suffer. Keyzeron is going to be playing Animorphs coming really soon. But I just wanted to give you guys a reminder that our next incentive is going to be for the Super Highlight Joke Percent. Yeah, that's a thing, apparently. Apparently, Super Highlight involves collecting and showing off every joke item in the game. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but the jokes will always make me laugh. We need to reach $10,531.65. Wow. Oh, I get the joke. Okay, and right now we're at $6,303.99. So if you want the joke percent to happen, better start donating now. I'm gonna go ahead and read a couple of donations that I didn't get to go through while we're setting up for the interview. We got a $100 donation from Kevin218. Yo, Kevin here from Power Up Audio. This raises hype as heck, and commentary is on point. Keep it up, gents. Had to donate because, against my better judgment, I want to see Animorphs. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. $20 from Ampol that says won't be able to watch it live, but the joke percent of Super Highlights sounds awesome. $300 from Maples that says my fiance also wants to see Keyzeron suffer. Yep. We have a $100 donation from Blade from the movie Blade that says Animorphs. $25 from No Name that says Animorphs was my favorite book as a kid. The characters went through a surprising amount of torture for a children's book series, and now we should pass that on to Keyzeron. $250 from Wiffle Waffle that says free Keyzeron. No, that's not happening. Ace Burrito that donates $100 that says we all know what this is for. It's for Animorphs. Anonymous donates $100 that says, I already donated toward it earlier this evening, but I just have to throw more money toward making Animorphs happen. Who knows? Maybe the RNG will cooperate for long enough to make the run winnable this time. We'll see about that. Paul56, thank you for your $222.22 donation that says Animorphs. Calvin JJ, $100. This Animorphs run will change your life. Let's make it happen, people. Hi, my name is Cher. Donates $100. It says, staying up late for Kizaron's Animorphs run. It is such a hot mess of a game that you have to see it to believe it. Freddie donated $10 saying, how can you talk about the best Mega Man games and not mention Mega Man DOS? I don't know about that one. Cannon Swift donates $250. AGDQ is so awesome. I encounter so many people affected by cancer in my line of work and have to find some way to give them comfort. So knowing that something so important to me from my childhood like Mega Man being used to help prevent pain in the world brings me so much comfort. Good luck to the runners. Speedrun for everlasting peace. Phoenix118 donates $10. Shoutouts to the crowd for supplying so much energy and love during all the runs and breaks. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exile Paladin donated $20 saying, T's keys. You heard it from Edobean. That's true. Mickey donates $10. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, I'm sorry. Animorphs was the run that really got me hooked on GDQ, so I had to donate for it. Go Kizaron. Morph those animals. Chrisside 5 donates $25. Need to see Kizaron attempt another Animorphs run to kick off the awful block. Favorite segment of the marathon each year. All right, and it's time for our interview from the Mega Man 4 through 6 relay with SpikeVegeta. Take it away.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to AGDQ 2020. We just had, thank you, that guy. We have just finished up the Mega Man 4 through 6 relay, and that was an amazing race. I am joined by team representatives here, Resistingframe, lookintoad, and Sagehero. Gentlemen, congratulations on an amazing race. How are y'all feeling right now?
Amazing.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, totally.
You could absolutely see, the first question I want to get into, all of you, even, you were all there to pick each other up, even like your rivals across in different t-shirts. Tell me a little bit just about being a part of the Mega Man community. I think it's one of the best communities in speedrunning.
I completely agree. In the end, we're all Team Wiley, right? Because, I mean, it's all Wiley.
No doubt.
We got to support each other.
It's all a front, yeah.
I'll be brief, but all these people are amazing, and this is incredibly surreal and amazing and an honor to play games with you guys. So
I think it's really been great. The amount of strategy and information sharing is really on a next level as far as Mega Man games go, especially when these games have been out for so long.
Yeah, and definitely for me, Mega Man 6 actually the first speed game I ever ran. And,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know, we have tutorials out. Dark Terex actually has an awesome tutorial for Mega Man 6. When they saw me play, they came, they helped out. You know, they invited me to the community, and everyone's been helpful ever since we all got here. So
I love hearing stories like that about how you went from this is your first speed game to now getting to perform on stage with the greatest in the world. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common question I've asked y'all. What was the scariest moment when you were holding the controller? What was the scariest moment for watching one of your teammates playing through tonight? Can you remember just the biggest clinch moment for you as a viewer?
for me, probably like Cossack 1 and 2, there was a lot of goofiness going on, and I was like, craziness. Anything in Mega Man 5 with Super Arrow, I'm like, okay, you know, when it's accurate.
It's about 1 pixel you're shooting for everywhere.
And just Dark Terex playing Mega Man 6. No, I'm just kidding. No. I love you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. No, but yeah, 6 is just, there's so much crazy stuff going on in that. That's also a real nail biter. I mean, the movement's so precise and...
Yeah, for me, it's Becco playing beatless, man. That's you know.
You're convinced the fight will never end.
Yeah, pretty
He will
much.
stay on the top of the screen the whole time.
That's how I felt in the beginning. I was like holding my breath, go, should I go in now? Should I go in now? It never happened.
I really think Dark 3 and Mega Man 5, they call that stage the Widowmaker for a reason. It's just an absolute run killer.
Yeah. I also want to talk to you guys about what is your single favorite strategy to nail in any of your classic Mega speedruns, even if it wasn't necessarily the one you played tonight?
For me, Balloons and Brightman stage and Mega Man 4 for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that strategy is just, I think visually it's really cool. It's really fun to play. It's amazing. I love it. It's good.
Go ahead, man.
So I think Cossack 2, my favorite was the balloon strats, the ladder balloons. Those are relatively new.
Yep.
And when I knew I was about to do that triple balloon, my heart was pumping so hard. I could hear it up in my headphones.
You got it? Yeah. Sick, dude.
Yeah, for me, it's platforms, man. I love platforms. Every time you put it off so smooth, man. It's just the jumps in between the springs. It's a really good feeling when you pump it up.
I lose a few years off my life every time I watch anyone do plant. That's so difficult. I want to get into a couple of clips we have right here. We're actually going to start with Sagehero. You had a lot of super clutch moments throughout this run. There were many times I thought you were going to die to Wily 3 at the end. You kind of bailed on some super arrow strats. You were able to work around it at 1 health. You had the fight with Ringman. I thought you were going to die to. I thought you were going to get crushed at one point. There were about 700 times I was convinced you were going to die, and you never died. You somehow avoided it the entire run. Are you someone that you find you build off of pressure, or is it just they got to see the good side tonight?
Yeah, I think especially once I do it once and I succeed, that builds confidence. So the first couple stages, I was a little bit, hesitant and nervous. Once we really got to Brightman and Ringman, I started to feel more confident, kind of in a groove. I think you could see that in my play.
Absolutely. Lookintoad, for you, you had an amazing 8 Robot Masters coming out. I believe they said an 18-17.
Yeah, it felt pretty good.
Masters.
Yeah.
And then things started to turn a little bit, but I thought it was actually an extremely veteran move of you when you kind of early on in Cossack 1, you lost a lot of your balloon, and you knew, all right, you knew exactly the level you had to go up and get an energy refill, come back down, reset the room. There was a lot of backup strats set there. Was that something you've experienced before and you knew how to account for, or was it kind of there in that moment you were figuring it out?
It's a little bit of both. The climb in Cossack 1 is tricky when you mess it up, because depending on where you mess it up and how much ammo you used, I mean, there's all kinds of things you have to think about how you want to move forward with. In that particular situation, I definitely wanted the ammo for Cossack 2, like, right away. I was like, okay, this has gone far enough. I know I'm gonna have to reset and use the balloons. I'm just gonna grab the ammo now.
Yeah, brilliant calling it on the fly. And RF, for you, I just want to ask about the fact, both these gentlemen I'm getting to ask questions, they got to start it. They got to be done by a reasonable hour. You're starting your run close to 3 a.m. What was that like sitting back there knowing it was gonna be on your shoulders at some point?
Actually, it was a good feeling, but I just seeing everyone play, but like standing next to Ohan, and then knowing that we're on the same stage, I'm like, oh my God! If I mess up one time,
one of the greatest speedrunners of all time.
Yes, if I mess up one time, it's over. And I messed up twice, and it actually showed in the end. That was really big mistakes.
Still hung in there. I love to just see all 9 of you up there and feeling like these are all, they can play with each other. There's no feeling of like you would notice any difference necessarily between you all unless we're looking at the most minute of details. Yeah, seeing your Plant Man stage right here on screen, I would say you love pulling it off, and that was, I felt like, really a stage where you settled in, nailing this strat. I could watch this for days.
Well, that's I think that's Ohan's strat right there. He did that. I do it without the buster, but
okay.
but that's pretty.
That's
pretty
still
smooth.
pretty good.
That's
Okay, I
pretty
was
smooth.
wondering what clip was popping up. I was like, that was probably him. Either way, unbelievable work.
It should be him on the.
Yeah. One final question for y'all before we send it up for Animorph. Yeah, we got everybody clapping for it. All right, the room is packed. What happened? I just want to ask y'all, everyone's always got to ask, what's your favorite Mega Man track? But I'm going to keep it in the Mega Man 4 through 6 bracket. What is your favorite track from these 3 games?
Skullman.
Yes, that's my favorite 4, yeah.
Gotta pay respect to Toadman.
Toadman?
I love me some Nightman. We're keeping it in the.
Oh, I like it, boys. I like it. I'm gonna go Darkman, yeah, for sure. I'm about to say, just he's a cool guy in general, and I'm glad we get to hear that 4 different times. So, But yeah, with that, guys, thank you so much for joining. Again, Sagehero, lookintoad, RF. You guys were amazing up there. That's one of my favorite relays we've ever had up here on the GDQ stage. And again, guys, who's hype for Awful Block, the 10-year anniversary?
Awesome.
We got Keyzeron doing Animorphs. That made $60,000. I don't know what happened, but we got a lot of other stuff like Rocky and Bullwinkle. Michael Yama's gonna be up on stage. It's gonna be a crazy night all the way till well into breakfast time. So we're gonna send it back up to the front. Hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Just as a reminder that right now for the super highlight joke percent, we're at $6,618. We need $10,531.65. So if you want that to happen, make sure you donate now. Okami Karas 149 donates $15 that says, Awful Block hype. Beautiful. $20 from Cygnus that said, final push for Keyzeron, the suffering. Let's go. Waifu Wars donates $50. What better time to donate than when it can help destroy both cancer and Keyzeron's sanity?